station of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
We're back inside Chase Field as this Diamondbacks series against the Padres continues. D-backs have won 7 of their 11 games versus San Diego this year. And tonight, they'll look for their second straight win in this series with Zack Greinke on the mound. We're set for Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brenly along the way. It's the D-backs and the Padres. Zack Greinke on the mound tonight. And Bob, looking to stay unbeaten here at Chase Field this year.
You know, he's been pretty good no matter where he pitches, but he's been especially good here at Chase Field this year. In 7 starts in his home ballpark, he's a perfect 5-0 with an ERA under 2.5. Opponents hitting under 200 against him. How's an 8-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio here at Chase Field?
Boy, it's been a treat to watch Zack Greinke pitch. He's up against the Padres here tonight. He'll have to be careful, though, for the rookie right fielder Hunter Renfroe, who hit 2 long home runs here last night.
Yeah, he's been on quite a roll the last couple of weeks, hitting .320. That's the surprising number. This is kind of an all-or-nothing hitter. Tries to lift it in the air and pull it to left field. He did it twice last night. We're going to see a lot of this guy in the future.
It's Greinke and Perdomo, the D-backs and the Padres. First pitch is coming up shortly on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Gila River. Experience winning like you've never imagined at the Gila River Casinos, Lone Butte, Wild Horse Pass, and Equiba. By Jack in the Box and the Jumbo Jack, a home run for your mouth. By the Donor Network of Arizona. Sign up, save lives. Visit DonateLifeAZ.org. And by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealer, where you get more standard features for less money. By Gigablast Internet from Cox. Get ready for the gig life. by Oregano. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run at Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint, location statewide. And by State Farm, here to help life go right. Getting set for the D-backs and the Padres. The Rockies have already won. They beat Cleveland. The Dodgers beat Washington. Kershaw over Strasburg. Diamondbacks trying to keep pace. And they have their ace on the mound. Zach Greinke coming up. D-backs and Padres from Chase Field. To go inside Chase Field. Diamondbacks winners of a season high 7 straight home games. The best home record in baseball at 22-8 inside here. They've won 10 of their last 12 at Chase Field, and they're trying to take 2 in a row tonight. From Andy Green's San Diego Padres, your lineup for the Padres is brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
And like we say almost every night for Andy Green and these young Padres, a different look to the lineup tonight. Franchi Cordero will be leading it off out in center field tonight. Yangervis Solarte at second base. Will Myers down at first. Hunter Renfroe, that guy, 2 homers last night. He's back in right field tonight. Ryan Schimpf at third base. Alan Cordoba in left field. Eric Ibar at shortstop. Luis Torrens doing the catching for right-hander Luis Perdomo.
And your Ram truck starter for the D-backs is the right-hander Zach Greinke. 7-3, a 3.06 ERA. Zach coming off a win at Miami last Thursday. He's won 5 of his last 6 starts.
This will be his 19th career start against the San Diego Padres. Of course, all the time he spent down in Los Angeles before coming here to the desert. 9-2 with a 1.93 ERA in his previous 18 against the Padres.
Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively tonight. Our Eye on Defense brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Ray Fuentes getting the nod in center field tonight. It'll be flanked by Daniel Descalso in left. David Peralta in right field. It'll be Jake Lamb and Chris Owings on the left side of the infield with Brandon Drury and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Jeff Mathis, as is customary, behind the plate for right-hander Zach Greinke.
And behind the plate for the umpires tonight, it's Clint Fagan. He'll have the balls and strikes. Tim Timmons is our first base ump. James Hoy at second. And the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg, is at third. And BB, before we get it cranked up here, let's check out your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, the Diamondbacks have had great success against the Padres already this year. You might as well just follow the same script. Good starting pitching and early offense. That shock and awe offense against this young Padres team.
Franchi Cordero, the center fielder, will lead it off for San Diego. Diamondbacks have won 7 of the 11 meetings with the Padres so far this year. And this series, the last meeting between these two teams until September. drive this one out to left. Scalzo is there to track it down. One pitch, one out for Greinke. Here's Yangervis Solarte.
Well, we've said that a lot about Zach Greinke this year. He's retired the first batter of an inning 82% of the time. Just as a point of comparison, the league average is 68%.
Solarte, the switch hitter. 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts last night. He's gone hitless in each of his last 3 games. Taking all the way, and there's strike one. Solarte, 245. He's got 4 home runs. Brandon Drury well back on the grass at second base. Slow curveball, not quite the eephus maybe, but in the neighborhood. Starting to see that a little more often than once a game these days.
It's becoming a weapon for him. It was just kind of a novelty there for a while, but we're seeing more and more of that big, slow curveball.
Lace down the right field line, headed for the corner, and it's in the bullpen. Yangervis Solarte, his 5th of the year, and 2 batters in. It's 1-0 Padres.
I mentioned Zach Greinke's success against leadoff hitters in an inning. He's retired 82% of them. However, 7 of the 12 home runs he's given up this year have come to the first batter of an inning. That's really odd. There's a slider working its way down and in, and Solarte golfs it out of here. You can see Jeff Mathis was preparing to block that pitch.
Not much Zach could have done about that one. Going to hit home runs from there. Will Myers. There's strike one to Myers.
Now 12 homers to the first batter of an inning. That wasn't the first batter of an inning, but 10 of those have been solos. Actually 11 now. 11 of 12.
Solo home runs don't beat you. That's what they've always told me.
And the other one was a 2-run homer, so he just doesn't pitch himself into a lot of trouble with the base on balls or back-to-back hits. He'll give up the occasional solo.
Myers 31 RBIs, leads the Padres.
He's describing what he did. Slider down and in, and he scooped it out of here to right field. That's what Luis Gonzalez used to call it when he'd go down and get one of those low pitches. I scooped him.
Well, it's a good start for San Diego, certainly, after they were down 7-0 in the 3rd inning in last night's series opener. 1-2 on Myers, who's 3rd in the National League in strikeouts. Striking out a lot this year. Oh, that one just missed for Clint Fagan. Fastball just off the plate. It's 2-2. The dangerous rookie Hunter Renfroe on deck. 2 home runs here last night. Myers strikes out. 2 down in the first. Here comes Renfroe.
93-mile-an-hour fastball, outer third of the plate. That's a pitch that Will Myers, when he's right, will handle with ease, but swings right through that one. He's really scuffling.
This guy is not. Renfroe 232, now 13 home runs. He has homered 3 times in his last 2 games after hitting a couple of homers here last night. And both shots went more than 435 feet. And as per usual with Renfroe, both home runs came when he was ahead in the count.
To steal a basketball term, he's a cherry picker. He'll get those 2-0, 3-1 counts, get that bat started a little early, and take that big lumberjack swing and try to lift the ball in the air left field like he tried right there.
He's always had throughout his minor league career very violent, aggressive swing. He's up there trying to hit it 500 feet every time. They've tried to get him off that a bit. There's Robbie Ray, last night's winning pitcher. Bouncer on the short hop to Lamb at third. But Solarte's fifth of the year makes it 1-0 Padres. Diamondbacks coming up. Give an early lead to your Ram truck starter for the Padres, the right-hander Luis Perdomo. One of the most effective ground ball pitchers in the majors, but he's winless in 10 starts. Diamondbacks knocked Perdomo out of the game after only 3 innings when they faced him a few weeks ago at Petco Park.
He banged him around pretty good down at Petco. He's coming off his best start of the year. 7 strong innings against the Cubs. Gave up only 3 hits and 1 run in that ball game.
Daniel Descalso in the leadoff spot tonight. 226 and 4 home runs. Descalso had a 2-run single in the game last night. He's hit safely now in 6 straight starts.
Mentioned that shock and awe offense for the Diamondbacks against the Padres. It's not surprising they've given up 53 first inning runs this year, the most in the major leagues.
Bounce to first. It backs up Myers. Plants and throws. Perdomo gets over there, and that's the first out. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks lineup tonight, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Daniel Descalso out in left field, grounds out to first base right there to lead it off for the D-backs. David Peralta in right field, making his way to the plate. He'll be followed by Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Jake Lamb at third, Chris Owings at shortstop tonight, Brandon Drury over at second base, Ray Fuentes out in center field, Jeff Mathis doing the catching, and Zach Greinke doing the hitting in the 9 spot.
Padres will put the shift on for Peralta. Walked and struck out twice last night. He scored a run.
And we saw this from the Padres last night, and it really hurt him a couple of times. Shifting the infield to pull, which is standard operating procedure against David Peralta, but swinging the outfield way around to the opposite side, leaving Hunter Renfroe alone to patrol out there right and center field.
Yeah, Renfroe, look how much room there is in that right field corner for the left-hand hitting Peralta. We got Schimpf, the third baseman, in the second base spot. Solarte at second base, way back in the outfield grass, and it's 2-1. And that burned him a couple of times last night, that outfield shift. David, 299. He's got 4 home runs. They give him the entire left side of the field. And David, we've seen him do that a number of times this year. He'll just kind of shank one down that left field line if you give it to him.
This is what you were talking about, David Peralta, especially in 2 strike counts, more than willing to go to the opposite field. 22 of his hits this season have come to the opposite field. I mean, you're doing him a favor. If you throw a fastball out over the plate somewhere, you can just slap it to the opposite field, especially with the way the infield is shifted around.
Seems backwards. A 1-out walk. Our eye on defense for San Diego is brought to you by Nationwide Fishing Center.
Up to right across the outfield, it'll be Cordoba, Cordero, and Renfroe. In the infield, Ryan Schimpf at third, Eric Ibar at short. Yangervis Solarte at second base with Will Myers over at first. Luis Torrens doing the catching for right-hander Luis Perdomo.
Paul Goldschmidt, 305, 13 home runs. That 999 OPS is top 10 in all of baseball. Peralta's at first, one out. A slow slider is in there, and it's 0-1. Goldie scored twice last night. He walked. He was hit by a pitch, showing no ill effects after he was hit on the hand, which was a frightening moment there for a while. Flashbacks to Ernesto Frieri a few years ago. And there's a tapper that rolls foul, and it's 0-2. Goldie's got very good numbers against Luis Perdomo. This matchup is definitely advantage D-backs, as it is most times when Goldie's up there, but especially in this case. 7 for 13 career against Perdomo. He's homered off him twice.
Yeah, that's ownership.
I think it's because Perdomo has his ears tucked under his cap. Not sure he can hear the signs.
He's much more aerodynamic that way, however.
Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing this.
Well, it is really chilly in here tonight.
Kind of the Charlie Brown look. Goldie hits one back to the mound, and he'll spin them all around.
With socks and hat and everything will be flying all over the place.
Fastball on 1-2 is in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A red hot Jake Lamb on deck. Jake had a big night last night. 4 runs batted in. A double and a single. Perdomo, when he's on, can be a ground ball machine. A 66% ground ball rate. That is 3rd best in all of baseball. Luis Torrens, the Rule 5 pick behind the plate tonight. We'll keep an eye on Peralta. 4 for 5 in his stolen base attempts this year. Got to do some landscaping over there.
See David using that base to knock the mud out from between his cleats, or the dirt that's caked in there.
2-2. Full count. He's pulled a Goldie from 0-2 to 3-2.
Normally I would say this is a very safe run count here if Torey Lovullo wants to get David Peralta started over at first. Goldie, with the great numbers that we showed you against Perdomo, likely to make contact if the pitch is in the strike zone, and if it isn't, he'll take it for ball 4.
Peralta holds it first, and Goldie fans on a fastball. First strikeout for Perdomo.
Good thing he didn't send him.
Got the cleanup man coming up in Jake Lamb. Jake had a big night here last night in the series opener. A single, a double. He knocked in 4. That double in the first made it 2-0. And he singled and knocked in 2 more in the second inning. Wound up scoring a run. First in the majors this year to 50 RBIs, although he was passed later on that night by Mark Reynolds. So Lamb right now second in the big leagues with those 50 runs batted in. .284 and 14 home runs.
Great season numbers for Jake Lamb. Also tremendous numbers against the Padres. His last 4 games against San Diego, 6 for 15 with 4 extra base hits.
2-0. Diamondbacks right now 2.5 games behind Colorado for the National League West lead. Rockies beat up on Cleveland at Coors Field 8-1. Dodgers are in second. They beat Washington in LA today 2-1. That was Kershaw over Strasburg. So the D-backs trying to keep pace in the NL West. Torey Lovullo's ball club coming into tonight 10 over 500. 2-0 to Jake Lamb. Missed with a fastball. It's 3-0. Chris Owings, who homered last night, is on deck. Walked him. Second walk in the inning by Luis Perdomo. 2 on and 2 out for Owings.
And even though that was ball 4, base on balls for Jake Lamb, I guarantee you the advanced scouts are writing in their notebook that he had the green light there 3-0. Chris Owings last night. Yeah, big home run to left field. Good to see O getting back on the beam offensively.
Now a career high 7 home runs for Chris Owings.
Watch the way a guy takes that 3-0 pitch and basically tell you whether he has the green light or not. Jake was loaded up and ready to let it fly if it was a pitch to his liking, but it was out of the zone. He took ball 4.
Peralta at second and Lamb at first. Oh, he hit it right to Schimpf at third. Knocks it down, and that's the end of the inning. Perdomo gets a ground ball. Strands 2. It stays 1-0 Padres. D-backs trail at 1-0. Hey fans, if you can't watch the D-backs games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's presented by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the app and take Fox Sports Arizona and the Diamondbacks with you wherever you go. Ryan Schimpf, the third baseman, leads off the second. And there's the shift for Schimpf. It's the Schimpf shift.
Watch out.
He said, hopefully. Yeah, you said it. Well, Schimpf, you know his deal. He hits pretty much home runs or nothing. He's got 26 hits all year, 14 homers. Bunts it away from the Schimpf shift, and it's foul.
Well, that's a dangerous proposition for a hitter when you have a fielder like Zach Greinke on the mound. Watch him after he delivers this pitch charge into a defensive position. Maybe going to throw Schimpf out by a mile if that ball was fair. He anticipates so well as a defender out there on the mound. He's not just a thrower. He's not just a pitcher. Once he lets that ball go, he's an infielder.
2 gold gloves to prove it. In with a fastball he missed. It's 1-2. Ryan Schimpf has been driving the ball pretty well lately. When he does make contact, he's homered in 5 of his last 11 games. You were talking, Bob, last night about how much of this Padres offense this year has been generated by the home run ball.
You really don't see a lot of extended innings by the Padres where they'll draw a walk, get a base hit, somebody hit one in the gap, maybe draw another walk. You rarely see that kind of an inning from the Padres offense. It's 1 up, 1 down, 2 up, 2 down, home run, 3 outs.
Yes, pretty much it. Renfroe homered twice last night. Andy Green's ball club scuffling, to say the least. 23-36 this year, last in the division. 2-2 pitch. Got him. Second strikeout for Greinke.
It's that slider down and in. That's a dangerous area against a left-handed hitter. We saw Solarte go down and golf one to right field. Schimpf capable of doing the same thing, but that time Zach got the ball underneath his bat for strike 3.
He loves to throw that loopy breaking ball into left-handers, and as you mentioned, he's been burned for home runs on that pitch a couple of times this year. Alan Cordoba, 284, 3 homers. Popped up as a pinch hitter last night to start tonight in left field. Eric Ibar, who's on deck, hit that home run in that 1-0 game that Greinke lost at San Diego on that big breaking pitch into the lefty. Gregory Polanco hit one out on that same pitch, broke up the no-hitter here.
That's a very effective pitch. As I said, that's a hot zone for a lot of left-handed hitters, but if you can throw something that starts in that zone and then breaks out of it, you're likely to get a swing and a miss or soft contact. It's just he's made some mistakes in that down and in location.
There's that curveball down and away to Cordoba, and it's 1-2. A lot of curveballs early from Zach Greinke tonight. You never know what he's got up his sleeve. It's something different every night.
Well, some starts he'll go out there and show everything he has in the first inning, kind of feeling around what's working tonight. Well, what's going to be my go-to pitch? Is it going to be the slider? Is it going to be the changeup? What's my fastball command like tonight?
There's the Greinke changeup. 3 strikeouts, 2 down in the second.
We talked about that area down and in on the left-handed hitters that Zach has been burned a few times this year, and the guy making his way to the plate hit one of those 5 home runs on that down and in zone. Now, the split for home runs of the 12, 6 by lefties, 6 by righties, but only 5 have come against off-speed pitches, and most of them are in that down and in territory, the blue zone.
That's right where Ibar got that 8th inning home run off Greinke in the 1-0 Padres win at Petco Park earlier this year. This is grounded to first. Goldie well off the bag. Greinke gets over there. And Greinke has retired 5 in a row since the Solarte homer. D-backs trail at 1-0. Brandon Drury will lead off the second inning against Luis Perdomo. Hey fans, D-Baxter's birthday is Sunday, June 11th, and he's inviting you and all of his mascot buddies to join him here at Chase Field. For his 10,000 kids, we'll get a bat and ball set as part of MLB's Play Ball Weekend. We'll have face painting, piñatas, and la terrazza for the kids. And in addition, after the game, kids can run the bases for Phoenix Children's Hospital. See all our kid-friendly activities that Chase Field has to offer online at dbacks.com/kids. That could get a little rowdy. Baxter and his mascot buddies. Yeah. It's a rough crowd.
I'm sure they will up security for that ball game. Check IDs.
Well, all of it has to be cleared through the president of the D-Backs Baxter fan club. That's Mr. Ralph Kelso.
Yeah.
Maybe we should check in with Ralph and find out if all the.
That's right. It has to be all cleared through me.
All the paper, Ralph, is all the paperwork gone through on that?
Almost all done.
All right. It's the great Ralph Kelso, ladies and gentlemen. High above courtside. Drury singled and walked last night. 2 balls and 1 strike. Perdomo 2 walks in that first inning, but he got out of trouble with an Owings ground ball to third.
Base runners have been one of the things that's plagued Perdomo this year. The league average when a runner reaches base and scores is 20%. Perdomo's at 44% this year. 44% of the runners that reach base score against him.
Do you think that has anything to do with being an extreme ground ball pitcher? Are they just sneaking through the infield?
I'm sure a lot of them do. We call that the curse of the sinker ball pitcher. Brandon Webb knows all about that. You can execute a perfect pitch down there at the bottom of the knees with some movement. And the guy dribble one through the left side or dribble one up the middle.
Well, that was a pretty good fastball here to Drury. Right on the corner, but Clint Fagan says ball 3. Came in on the hands that time. It stays 3-2. Well, Brandon's fouled. You see, he's fouled a bunch of pitches off his foot lately. On that road trip, did that a number of times. He's all padded up down there.
A lot of that has to do with his pitch selection. He's been swinging a lot of pitches way off the plate inside. I mean, that ball is on the inside line of the batter's box. Fouled it off his thigh.
Perdomo has become more and more a 2-pitch guy. He's leaning more heavily on that hard sinker and throwing a lot more curveballs. You'll see those 2 pitches almost all the time. There's that sinker right to Solarte at second.
Hey fans, a D-Backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-the-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Center fielder tonight, Ray Fuentes. Well, Ray started Sunday's game against the Marlins in Miami. Had a big day, 3 hits, including a double. .88 in 50 plate appearances this year. Diamondbacks still riding out the A.J. Pollock groin injury. A.J. continues to rehab at Salt River Fields. And he's always here when we're at home at Chase Field. Torey Lovello talked about that today before the game. They're taking their time right now. He says A.J. is running at about 75%. So they'll ramp him up a little bit more and then start discussions about maybe a rehab stint somewhere for a while. Because as Torey said, look, we want to play meaningful ball in August and September. So we got to take time with some of these injuries.
Well, especially a guy like A.J. who speed is such a big part of his game, whether it's patrolling out in center field or running the bases. And you definitely have to make sure he's at 100% before you run him back out there.
2-2. A.J. of course anxious. You know, he's watching all the games on TV when we're on the road, but he got to come out here with his teammates today and run around a little bit, take some BP in the cage. Good to see.
Can A.J. come out and play? It has to feel good to get back on the field, break a sweat, get some dirt on your hands, swing that bat again.
Did you ever miss a significant amount of time with an injury and you just had to kind of sit and watch?
Yeah, that's the worst feeling in the world. I broke my collarbone with 2 days to go in spring training in 1982 and had to watch the first 6 weeks of the season from my apartment. That was brutal. And that was back in the day when you got incentives. They wouldn't give you a lot of base salary, but hey, if you play 125 games, we'll give you an extra nickel, and if you play 130 games, we'll give you 2 nickels.
That's an expensive clavicle.
Yeah, I'm sitting at home just, oh man, that just cost me a lot of money right there. But it's good motivation for your rehab to get back on the field as quickly as possible.
Broken bat, looper in the air, right center. Cordero gets over there to run it down. Broken bat went out to second base that time. This heavy sink right here. Let's see.
Yeah, I bet he catches it out near the end. Oh, actually, it was on the hands. Yeah, split the barrel lengthwise that time. Yeah, usually a guy throws a hard sinker like that to a left-handed hitter. You're going to catch it off the end of the bat more often, and that's a very easy way to break your bat as well.
Jeff Mathis, 163, couple of home runs. So far, 7 Diamondback batters. 2 have walked. Perdomo has gone to a 3-ball count on 5 of the 7 hitters. So he's really working a little too hard out there for Andy Green's liking, I'm sure. A little false start right there. No, you're going to need that.
Yeah, I think he had second thoughts about the pitch right in the middle of his windup, and he looked like he laid an egg out there. He just kind of drops the ball.
That's the old drop ball that Satchel Paige used to throw. He would throw it in front of the mound.
Yeah,
that's kind of a different take on it.
Get it going toward the hitter.
Yeah. 0-1 to Mathis. There's the slider. You'll see that occasionally from Perdomo. Ground ball pitches that sinker. The swing and miss strikeout pitch, usually a curveball. Luis Torrens back there tonight. And double up on that slider. 0-2. 1-2, pardon me. Perdomo was a Rule 5 pick for the Padres last year. Torrens a Rule 5 pick this year. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A little hesitation. Johnny Cueto like up there at the top of his delivery.
Another fastball away, and again Clint Fagan doesn't bite back there, and again it's a full count 3-2. That's 3 consecutive full counts to Diamondback batters in this inning.
That's the second or third time Perdomo started off the mound thinking it should have been a called strike 3. That one off the outside corner.
Right center field. Cordero is there in the gap. 4 in a row set down by Luis Perdomo, who leads it 1-0.
Yankees Solarte solo home run has given the Padres a 1-0 lead as we head to the top half of the third. Hey fans, vote today, vote tomorrow, vote Arizona Diamondbacks for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at dbacks.com/vote and catch all the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard on July 11th live on Fox.
Yeah, we got about 5 or 6 guys that should be there, fans. Yankees Solarte homered the second batter of the game against Zach Greinke. He has set down all 5 he's faced since. And the catcher Luis Torrens knocks it back to the mound off Greinke's glove. He recovers nicely. Well, that's how you win 2 gold gloves. 1 down in the third.
It's one thing to be a gold glove defender. It's another thing to keep your wits about you. This is like a catcher looking for a wild pitch pass ball. He wasn't quite sure where it was, but scrambles to get to the ball and throws on in time to get the catcher at first base.
Well, for Zach Greinke, through the first 8 Padre hitters, he's got 3 1-pitch outs.
Nice.
Very efficient. In fact, the opposite of the way Perdomo's been going. Faced 3 batters in that bottom of the second and 3 3-2 counts. And here is the Padre pitcher. Luis Perdomo from the Dominican Republic, signed by the Cardinals in 2010 as a teenager in Santo Domingo. Pitched mostly as a starter, kind of stalled at the lower levels of St. Louis's minor league system. Rockies grabbed him in the Rule 5 draft a couple of years back. He was sold to the Padres that same day, and now he's a key member of their rotation. 1-2.
Yeah, Perdomo had the offensive game of his life earlier this season. On the 15th of May, he hit a triple against the Milwaukee Brewers. Also had another base hit in that game.
Waves at that one. 4 strikeouts for Greinke. 2 down in the third.
Almost not fair. Zach Greinke attacking an opposing pitcher.
Another pretty quick out. 7 straight he set down. Here's the leadoff man, Franchy Cordero, who lined out to left on the first pitch of the ball game. One of those 3 1-pitch outs so far tonight. Cordero up from the Padres AAA club in El Paso. He was hitting about .290 in the Coast League. He's been converted in recent minor league seasons from a shortstop to a center fielder. And he's out there tonight. They think they have something here with this guy.
He lost his thumb guard there. He swung so hard. Actually wears it on his index finger to protect that area between the thumb and the index finger. And that time he swung so hard the protective pad went flying back toward the on deck circle.
Fastball up, and it's 2-1. Cordero has hit safely in 6 of his first 7 big league starts. He's only played 9 major league games, 22 years old. He's ahead of Zach Greinke, 3 balls and 1 strike. With Solarte on deck, he homered his last time up. First 3-ball count of the ball game for Zach Greinke. There's the Greinke changeup. 3-2. It's a hard changeup. You usually see that 87, 88 miles an hour. Saw last night Denelson Lamet throwing 92-mile-an-hour changeups. So whatever works. Broken bat fly ball. Peralta's out there in right field, and he misses the ball. He got all turned around, and Franchy Cordero's headed for third. Well, we saw David lose one out there in the ball game yesterday, and that one kind of defies explanation. They scored a triple for Franchy Cordero as second. Here's a look.
Just misjudged it. Tries to recover at the very end, running straight back toward the warning track. Just could not get to the spot. Boy, that's a tough triple right there. That ball's got to be caught.
And we certainly don't see very much of that from any of the Diamondback outfielders, especially David. So Greinke's going to have to pick him up here. Here's Solarte.
Well, give Cordero credit. Running hard the whole way would have been very easy to break it down. What appeared to be a routine fly ball out there just shy of the warning track, but just put his head down, ran as hard as he could, and ended up at third base.
Change up in there, 1-1. On Hervey Solarte, a switch hitter. Left-hand side, as we've seen, is his power side. All 5 homers as a left-hand batter, just over 260 from this side. Fastball's in there, and it's 1-2. Greinke trying to strand Franchy Cordero at third with 2 outs. He's down there with Glenn Hoffman, who's coached third base for the Padres for the last 45 years. Oh, a little flare that's going to dunk in for a cheapo run. That hurts. Second RBI tonight for Solarte, and it's 2-0 San Diego. Ouch. Well, credit Solarte, got an opportunity and took advantage of it. Got to bring up Will Myers. Oh, he did it again.
He just served it out there.
That's how he hit the home run. Just went down and dug it out off the dirt. Myers struck out his first time up. There's that slider. Myers striking out a bunch lately, just about 30% of the time this year, by far a career high. Third in the league in strikeouts. Fastball's a strike. It's 0-2. Myers, you're right, Bob. He is just not the same hitter we normally see. Had a very good start this year, Will Myers, but since May the 1st, he's hit only about .210. Mathis can't find it. Solarte moves up. Well, there's that sort of moment of panic that you always talk about. You can see it.
You know the ball is somewhere in the vicinity, somewhere very close, but you just don't know where it is. Starts spinning around like a whirling dervish back there behind home plate.
What is a whirling dervish?
I'm not sure. That's a catcher on a wild pitch. This is a whirling dervish. Where is it? Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. There it is.
And you know he's out there running around the bases while you look for the baseball. Greinke at 40 pitches, 28 strikes, 1-2 to Will Myers.
If there was a warning siren on the catcher's gear, it would go off in that situation.
Whoop, 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 whoop. It's like a truck backing up.
That's what it feels like. You're just in a panic. Everybody in the ballpark knows where the ball is except for you. Of course, you'd like to get the help from your bench, and usually you do. The coaches or the guy sitting up on the top step will yell left, right, back, forward, trying to guide you to where that ball ended up.
That's out of play.
You were talking about Will Myers struggling since a fast start. Get him out of town, because he is going to get hot. He's too good of a hitter to stay down for very long.
And he's always been a good hitter in this ballpark, but this year only 4 for 24 at Chase Field. Greinke trying to get out of this third inning.
May 1st was right about the time Will Myers realized he was surrounded by call-ups and cast-offs, and oh boy, it's going to be a long summer.
Well, that's kind of what he signed up for.
Yeah.
They gave him $83 million, and he's going to be the guy. Mathis keeps that in front. Curveball in the dirt, 2-2, and he said, "I'm all in." He knows. He's kind of got a San Diego vibe about him too. That helps. But he knows the Chargers have moved. There's not much going on there in terms of sports now. You got San Diego State and the Padres, and that's kind of it. So he's not just the face of the Padres, maybe all of San Diego sports with the Chargers out of town now. Slider in the dirt now, and Myers has worked at full 3-2. But he says 2, 3, 4 years he wants to be able to lead this Padre team into the playoffs, and he's aware it's about the process, and it is a process in San Diego right now. There's no getting around that. Another strikeout. That's the 5th of the ball game for Greinke, but his defense lets him down just a bit. Solarte's single makes it 2-0. The greatest golfers in the world head to the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. Aaron Hill's the site of this year's 117th U.S. Open, where Dustin Johnson will defend his title. It starts June 15th on Fox FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Oh, it's gorgeous out there. U.S. Open coming up June 15th on Fox. Zach Greinke leads off the third against Luis Perdomo, who's now got a 2-0 lead. Perdomo jumps ahead 0-2. So far the ball game still more balls than strikes thrown by Luis Perdomo. Greinke stays alive up there. Luis Perdomo, this is quite a different start than the one he had against the Diamondbacks not too long ago at Petco Park. That was May 20th. Well, he just got shelled. He gave up a career high 8 runs, 11 hits. He lasted only 3 innings. Diamondbacks in that game got to him right away. They scored 5 in the first. Whole different story tonight. Perdomo pitched very well his last time out. That was last Wednesday against the Cubs in San Diego. 7 innings in that game against Chicago. Gave up only 1 run on 3 hits, but did not get a decision. What turned out to be a 2-1 Padres win. That run support, that's been a big issue for Perdomo this year. They have not scored when he's out there. In his 10 starts this season, the Padres have scored 3 or fewer runs 7 times.
19 total runs of support before tonight. That's the 5th fewest among all major league pitchers.
They've scored a total of just 4 runs in his last 3 starts. Greinke lays off that slider, and he's worked it full 3-2. Well, tonight a 2-0 lead here at Chase Field. 9th pitch of the at-bat to the pitcher on the way. It's a high bouncer to shortstop. Ibar calls off Schimpf.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Well, no hits for the Diamondbacks against Perdomo. The first time through the order. Descalso, the leadoff man tonight, rounded out his first time up. Another start in left field for Daniel Descalso. Yasmani Tomas on the 10-day DL yesterday with that nagging groin problem. Daniel hit leadoff in the game at Miami Sunday, had 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, and scored twice. So tonight, just his 2nd start this year batting leadoff. That's a fair ball. Myers is there, 2 down. David Peralta got all turned around on that fly ball hit by Franchy Cordero. Played it into a triple. He scored on the Solarte bloop single. So David trying to atone for that. Walked his first time up. Here's the Padres defensive alignment. They'll leave Ibar, the shortstop, alone on the left-hand side. Schimpf and Solarte on the right. Here's ball 1. David has cooled off a bit up there. 4 for 22 in his last 7 games. And once again, Cordero in center is shaded over toward left center. There's a big gap at first glance in right center field, but then when you see Hunter Renfroe, the right fielder, you see just how far off the line he's playing. Look at all that room in the right field corner for the left-hand batter.
Get that train on the track. Hook one down in that right field corner and run all day.
Run all the way around there.
And you know David would like to make up for that misplay in right field. It was scored a triple. I'm sure David will tell you he should have made the play. Might have been a little fooled off the bat. It sounded like the bat was broken, but the ball carried a long way.
Peralta's 2nd walk of the ball game, the 3rd issued by Perdomo, gives Goldie a chance. 1 on, 2 outs. Goldie struck out his first time up. D-backs down 2-0. Still looking for their first base hit against sinker ball artist Luis Perdomo. Fastball in is a strike, says Clint Fagan. It's 0-1. Pulled a little bit on that slider. 0-2. Goldie has homered twice in his career off Perdomo. His next one will break a tie with Steve Finley for second on the Diamondback all-time home run list. Both guys right now tied behind Gonzo.
And that's just the way Gonzo likes it.
Exactly. Have we decided what Goldie's checking exactly when he checks that bottom hand every time?
I think it's just force of habit. You know, he probably started choking up on the bat and wanted to check it every time to make sure he was in the right spot, and now it's just something he does out of habit. It's part of his routine.
Every pitch. Did he check? Yes, he did. Tim Timmons. It's 2-2.
Strong forearms, able to hold that barrel back. You see Goldie looking up in the upper deck or up into the lights, just letting that computer run. Okay, he's throwing me this, he's throwing me that. Just kind of get an idea of what you think he may throw, all the while being ready to hit anything that's close to that strike zone with 2 strikes.
Got a 2-2 breaking ball there from Perdomo. Perdomo's really laboring out there. He's yet to give up a hit, but he's thrown a bunch of pitches. Jake Lamb walked his first time up. He would be next. Fastball away. Spits on that one. He's worked it full 3-2.
Another Goldie.
9th 3-ball count of the ball game for Luis Perdomo.
Fastball.
Peralta takes off for second, and that's ball 4.
Keep going.
He throws it into center field. David Peralta going to stop at third. Goldie hustles up to first. Well, Luis Torrens, oopsie, he's a Rule 5 pick. This is a very, very young man back there. He's only 21 years old, and he kind of goofed there.
Yeah, I mean, the pitch is ball 4, clearly well below the strike zone. Nobody broke to cover second base because the middle infielder saw that it was ball 4, but Torrens, for whatever reason, came up firing to the center fielder.
3 years in the Yankees minor league system. Before this year, he never played above the A-ball level as a professional, and he literally threw that one to nowhere. I mean, there's no one near the bag, and it's ball 4.
Ball 4.
That's a first. That is a first.
I'll tell you what, if the Padres mishandled that throw back to the infield at all, David Peralta was going to try to score. He took a very aggressive turnaround third base, just hoping the Padres would botch that relay.
And Goldie was very late heading toward first base. I'm not sure that he knew what was going on exactly. That was very unusual. So a chance for Jake Lamb. He walked his first time up. First and third, 2 outs.
Make it hurt. Diamondbacks have done a pretty good job of that this year, taking advantage of opponents' errors, misplays, guys not backing up bases, not throwing to the right base, missing a cutoff man. Diamondbacks always seem to be in a good position to take advantage.
Jake, 8 RBIs in his last 9 games. He drove in 4 last night. And there it goes, way back and gone. How's that for taking advantage? Jake Lamb, that's his 50th. And the Diamondbacks have a 3-2 lead. Well, you called it, BB. Make it hurt.
Ball was blasted. Boy, Jake's timing is so good lately. Hitting coaches will tell you just watching a guy take pitches You can tell if his timing is good, and lately Jake Lamb has been getting that front foot down, rarely fooled by anything, and if he gets a mistake pitch like that slider up in the zone, he absolutely tortures it.
Chris Owings homered last night. Fastball is strike one. A jumbo jack off the bat of Jake Lamb. A free jumbo jack tomorrow with the purchase of a large drink at Jack in the Box. Boy, Perdomo had been rolling along. He'd retired 6 in a row. And he walked Peralta. Had the bizarre ball 4 throwing error by the catcher Terens. Both those walks with 2 outs, and then the Lamb homer.
For Jake Lamb, he's now 11 for his last 19 with runners in scoring position. 3 homers and 19 runs driven in. I know a lot of people argue there's no such thing as clutch. You know, you either get the hit or you don't get the hit, but
they're wrong.
The guys seem to rise to the occasion more consistently than other guys. I call them clutch hitters.
Well, how's this for clutch? He's leading the major leagues in runs batted in.
Yeah.
Now at 53, 2 ahead of Mark Reynolds for the major league lead. One and 2 to CO.
I was very fortunate to play with one of the best clutch hitters in my eyes anyway during his era, Will Clark. I mean, this guy, the tougher the situation, the tougher the opposing pitcher, the bigger the situation, the more often he would come through.
Will the Thrill, he earned that nickname. Tough play for Schimpf, has to charge it. He was well back there, makes a nice play, but CO with that speed beats it out.
If you could only do this when you wanted to. It's a little swing and bunt down the third baseline. Ryan Schimpf was playing way back. Remembering Chris Owings' first at bat, he scalded one down there to Ryan Schimpf, who was playing at the edge of the grass. This time he backs up and Chris Owings hits it in front of him.
Darren Balsley, the pitching coach out there. Perdomo, boy, this thing is unraveled for him in a hurry. That's only the second hit he's given up all night, but he's walked 4. He's over 70 pitches now through 2 2/3, and Brandon Drury is the hitter. Brandon grounded out to second his first time up. Matt Greinke suddenly holding a 3-2 lead. Rockies have won today. They beat Cleveland 8-1. Dodgers have won today. They beat the Nationals 2-1. D-backs as we speak 2.5 games behind Colorado for the NL West lead. That Dodger National game, Kershaw beat Steven Strasburg. D-backs have their ace on the mound here tonight. Perdomo behind 2 balls and no strikes on Brandon Drury.
Talk about clutch. How about the Diamondbacks offense in general so far in this series? 11 of the 13 runs they've scored have come with 2 outs in the inning. Well, I talked about it a couple days ago. Those are demoralizing. Defensively, you're standing out there. You're 1 out away from going in and taking your hacks offensively.
Drury gets into one deep center field, and this ball is gone. Brandon Drury, that's his 5th. And it's 5-2 Diamondbacks. Oh, with 2 outs. Mr. Bradley, can I interest you in some tacos?
Always. Woo. Always.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Didn't it, though? Yeah, a little meeting out there on the mound after the mistake by Terens when he threw the ball into center field. The Padres infield all ran out to the mound, and it appeared, just judging from the body language and some of the gestures, that they were telling Perdomo to keep your cool, keep your poise. He has a tendency to get some real bad body language out there on the mound when things aren't going good.
Just turned 24 years old about a month ago off his bare hand, and Ibar's got no play. The inning keeps on going.
I mean, it's common for a young pitcher, especially when you're really laboring, although he was pitching well up to that point. But look at the body language right there. Slams his glove down on his thigh. Obviously upset with himself, but probably also upset with that throwing mistake by the catcher.
Well, we've seen there are pitchers that handle this kind of thing better than others, right? They're all people. Remember John Lackey he had a big body language issue when he was in Boston. There would be an error behind him and it looked like the end of the world.
Waving his arms, showing up his teammates. Carlos Zambrano in Chicago used to do that from time to time.
Jeff Mathis, that one kicks away from Torrens, and Fuentes can run. He's going to head for third, and now he stops halfway there and dives back in safely.
This is really falling apart here, this inning for the Padres. Once again, the ball got away from Torrens behind home plate. Initially, he didn't know where it was. Ray Fuentes realizes that, takes a big turn around second base, almost got halfway to third, and then safely gets back to the bag at second.
Keep in mind, Perdomo started this inning with 2 quick, easy ground ball outs. And Mathis is the 9th man to bat in the Diamondback third. Since that second ground ball out by Descalso, it's gone walk, walk, home run, single, home run, single. One and two on the Diamondback catcher. Greinke, who started off this inning with a ground ball out to shortstop, is on deck. Home runs in the inning. Jake Lamb a 3-run shot. Brandon Drury a 2-run homer. Perdomo still out there laboring. Now looking at 80 pitches through 2 2/3.
It took a few innings, but the shock and awe offense did show up once again today. The Diamondbacks with 96 runs in the first, second, or third inning this season, the most in the majors.
Well, the way these Padres can hit home runs, going to need more to feel super comfortable. 1 and 2 on Jeff Mathis. And that one kicks way back to the screen. Torrens is still chasing it around down there. Boy, the wheels have come off for Luis Perdomo. Tell you what, Andy Green must have the patience of Job.
He better have.
Craig Stammen, the right-hander, warming up in the San Diego bullpen.
Yeah, I should correct myself. The shock and awe offense didn't really start until after the first 17 games of the season. The Diamondbacks had only scored 11 runs in innings 1, 2, or 3. But since those first 17 games, they lead the majors.
A little tapper to short. Ibar calls off Schimpf, and he throws out Mathis. But with 2 outs, the Diamondbacks come up with 5 runs in the third after a pair of walks. Lamb, a 3-run homer, his 15th. Then a single by Owings. It's Brandon Drury, his 5th. Diamondbacks after 3 lead the Padres 5-2. League Baseball and the Prostate Cancer Foundation have partnered for the Home Run Challenge, a campaign to support research and awareness to fight prostate cancer. And the foundation founder Michael Milken is here, along with Diamondbacks president and CEO Derek Hall. It's always great to have you guys. This has become an annual event with you, sir. Tell us about the Home Run Challenge.
This is our 22nd year at the Home Run Challenge in this beautiful Arizona ballpark that I think when it opened 98. And we've brought into the booth with us the person that sang the national anthem in '98, Nils Lofgren.
How about that? That was a hell of a opening game. And me and Alice Cooper, Sam Moore, Dave Mustaine, and about 12 local singers came out and did the anthem for the opening game.
I thought you were going to be the headliner here.
No. I just sit here quietly. But I will say, in those 21 years, not only has Michael brought awareness to prostate cancer, he's brought some good luck, because I think we're 14-7 in those 21 years that you've been here.
Yeah, you were in the booth. Both of you guys were in the booth that whole half inning. So you're both. And Derek, this is obviously very close to home for you. You have your own foundation as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The prostate, it's Pro State of Mind, pro-state. You can find it at prostate.org. But absolutely, in 2011 was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and the work that Mike has done, Michael, with his foundation, and the awareness, the education that we've been able to drive, and the research that he has brought forth, and it's really so simple for men just to get tested. And whether it's the old-fashioned way digitally or with PSA, and PSA saved my life, just a simple blood test. But the key to this, early detection, it can be treated.
That was the original idea. Keep dad in the game and come out to the ballpark, remind your dad, your coworker, to get tested. And like Derek, I wouldn't be with you today if it wasn't for that simple blood test. I was 45 years old, and the doctor told me I was too young. You don't need to take a blood test. And I just had a friend, Steve Ross, pass away, who had founded what is Time Warner today. And I said, well, humor me. Then my PSA came back at 28, and everything changed from there. And I had been supporting cancer research for 20 years, but really knew nothing about prostate cancer. And when you realize
Hunter Renfroe leads off the fourth with a base hit up the middle.
And when you realize that 1 in 8 men get prostate cancer, and actually 1 in 2 men get some form of cancer, and this was the most diagnosed, it was amazing how little people knew about prostate cancer. And the program with the Diamondbacks and Major League Baseball has really changed the environment and knowledge today. And not only that, it's the $45 million raised from these home runs during the Home Run Challenge, and then we've got matches of 15-1 that turned into $700 million, and now we have 6 new drugs.
And Michael, tell us how the Home Run Challenge works. How can folks get involved and participate?
You can go to homerunchallenge.org and pledge money for home runs hit. With Major League Baseball this year, it's every home run hit from June 1st to June 18th. We think there'll be about 500 of them. So if you pledged $1, that would be $500. You pledged a dime, that would be $50. And if you want to pledge 1,000 home run, that's 500,000.
Well, the remarkable thing, I mean, you think Michael was 45, I was 42, and usually they'll tell you, get tested once you're over 50. And I can tell you whether you're 30, 35, 40, just get that marker so you know where you're at. Make sure you can stay on top of it.
It's amazing when you think how young people get tested for their cholesterol. Just the same little blood test from that standpoint.
This really has reached the entire nation, hasn't it?
It has, and now it's reached the entire world. We've known that there's this relationship between diet and nutrition. And what's interesting, in parts of China, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer was about 1/10 of the incidence of the U.S. But with the change in their diet to a Western diet in Beijing and Shanghai and many of the other cities, you've had a 5-fold increase in prostate cancer now in parts of China. And it just underlines how important diet is and what it can do, and why we've been working on prostate cancer or many other cancers. The sequencing of the human genome was going to change everything for everyone. It used to cost $1 billion, so not too many people, Bruce, would say, okay, please sequence my genome for $1 billion. Now it's down to 1,000, going to 100. And you're going to find out not only whether you have cancer, but which one of the 28 types of prostate cancer and what is the right treatment for you. And the same thing for breast cancer and other forms of cancer.
Derek, this hit home again for the Diamondbacks' first day of spring training with Ron Gardenhire's news.
Absolutely, yeah. And Gardy has had successful surgeries back here, obviously in the dugout. Another guy showing you that if you catch it early enough, it can be treated. And just another man who was willing to go out there and speak publicly, thank goodness, to spread that word and encourage all men to get out and be tested. Go see your doctor. Don't be too manly. We all are. You know, we don't like to go to the doctor. We don't like to have our checkups. But you should tell everybody, you know, your friends, your neighbors, your fathers, your grandfathers, uncles, brothers, sons, as many as you can to get in there and get tested because it is so prominent. This has become our breast cancer.
You know, it's interesting, Derek. A lot of men we've discovered over the last 25 years we've been working at the Prostate Cancer Foundation that they feel if they don't get checked, they'll be doing fine. If they go to the doctor, something happens. And as we know, most women have really driven health care in this country. And getting men to just get tested, simple test, has become one of the real keys to the Major League Baseball program that's occurred today. And you know, it's interesting. I was in Milwaukee on Friday night, and the Daniels, the great defensive end of the Green Bay Packers, was throwing out the first pitch, and he was so nervous that he'd get the ball at home plate. What was your experience, Nils, today? Huh?
The same thing. I was warming up so much that
you blew out your arm?
Yeah, blew out my arm. Once you get out there, it is a bit intimidating. You know,
you couldn't tell.
Nils, I think we have the video here. What's happening?
Boy.
There you guys are before the game, and this is the big moment.
He threw a strike. Watch this.
I had the wave down, but I put it in the dirt. It was close.
Well, you want that breaking ball down.
That's right. Yeah. Don't hang it.
Maybe I'll get another chance.
I thought it was one of Greinke's sliders that you were throwing.
That would have been chased after, no doubt.
But you know, like you all say, I'm 65, and last fall we were finishing the East Street Band Tour based out of New York, and you know, my PSA went up, and thankfully to some friends at Memorial Sloan Kettering, I did some testing and had my prostate out November 21st. And Joni, Michael's sister, and my wife Amy and I saw each other at the Bridge School benefit, Neil Young's charity event last year. I did both nights, and Joni turned me on to Michael, who's been an enormous help. And you know, it's a whole new world, but I was just getting checked regularly for adrenal problem. My PSA went up, and thank God I caught it early enough, had the surgery, and Michael's been a great help with diet. My wife's a professional cook, and she's got an organic garden, but there's so much help out there if you ask for it. And like you said, men just have to go get the test.
That's right.
And thank God I was doing that regularly because I caught it.
And Michael, you were talking about diet. Derek, I know from having lunches and dinners with you, you're very diet conscious. Your whole family is.
We try to be, absolutely. And now Amy's got her own little battle that she's fighting, you know, bravely and doing well. So you have to be on top of it.
She looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, she does.
Really does look great.
And one of the things I had mentioned to Derek is triple negative breast cancer has a mutation that matches up against one of the forms of prostate cancer. So you're going to find both men and women being given the same treatment, and I think this will accelerate the solution for both.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for the cooperation and obviously being here. And then you went to the players and asked them if you could have more time to talk about it. Told them to have a slow bottom of the third and top of the fourth. They've cooperated. We really hit the brakes here.
No, we're good. Hey, we're keeping them off the scoreboard. Renfro's at second now, 2 outs, and Ibar's the hitter.
Well, any minute, Niels will probably break out and Born in the USA.
We'll take that.
Yeah,
that'll work.
Right?
That's pretty good.
Hey, I'm ready to do the national anthem. I got to get a shot at that.
You know, my partner's quite the guitar player.
I think I'm like 12-2, my record, singing the anthem.
Really?
So you have to get me back
We'll
here.
make that 13-2 in no time.
BB has the guitar on every road trip.
Yeah, I know 3 chords.
That's, well, you know, one more and you got it down. I think 4 is all you need. Throw a little minor in there and you're all set.
Okay. I'll work on that.
He's going to be teaching music to his grandchildren like he has been baseball recently. Pretty good play-by-play last night.
You caught the end of the game last night, huh?
I did.
I don't know. To be in the booth with a World Series winning manager is quite an honor to me.
Well, we're honored to have you here tonight, Michael.
You know, in the World Series run for the Diamondbacks. Ooh.
Ibar threw the bat.
my wife Amy and I were at Game 1, and I had to go to England to tour with my own little acoustic tour. She made Game 2 and 7, and I got to watch it on live TV over in the UK about 4 a.m. She wore, well, she's from New Jersey, West Orange, so she was here with her Yankee jersey on.
No.
Took a lot of guts, but you know what? She was so happy for the Diamondbacks, and watching it live from the TV at 4 a.m., watching the Diamondbacks take it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. I've been here 21 years. Oh, foul ball. Anyway, that was a beautiful moment.
Well, you must have grown up a Yankee fan then, right?
Well, I came from Chicago to Washington, D.C., L.A., and then I've been here 21 years. It's funny, I remember going with my dad as like 6 years old to see the Cubs play in Chicago, and I had my little mitt praying. I was in the center field hoping I'd get to catch a ball. And like Michael was saying earlier, the guy hit a home run, and when I realized it was coming near me, you see that ball, it looks further away than the moon, and I was petrified. I said, God, I hope it doesn't come to me.
That happened to me once when they gave me the camera, and there was a fly ball to the outfield, and I could not find the ball. Okay. People think it's easy to track the ball on a camera. I have enormous respect now for the camera.
And we got the best people in the business here, Michael.
Yeah.
We're really, really fortunate here. Ibar putting up a fight on 1 and 2. Greinke trying to get out of this 4th inning.
Michael, thanks for everything you do and continue to go around all the ballparks and educate men and teach them. It's this has been such a success, and I can tell you personally, it touches my heart, and I see the hard work, the passion that you pour into it each and every year, and you've built a huge army behind you, and we can't thank you enough.
And this is how you get involved. June 1st to the 18th, benefiting prostate cancer research. HomeRunChallenge.org.
Well,
you have
Derek,
to be ecstatic, Michael, that the home runs are up again this year.
You're not kidding. Now, what do you think's attributing to it?
I don't know.
You think it's a lively ball?
That's as good as explanation as any. I think it's bad pitching on occasion. You know, guys make mistakes.
Brandon Drury coming in, tricky play. He's got no play on Ibar. Keep an eye on Renfroe over there at 3rd.
As long as we keep hitting them here, you know, Michael, we're 22-8 here.
It's
an unbelievable home record.
Well, you're almost up to 80 home runs this year already. We of course track in our prostate cancer statistical Major League Baseball center. Big data.
Derek, the Summer Pass program just started with this series. That's been a tremendous success. It sold out, I think, in 3 or 4 days.
3.5 days, unreal. You know, 4,000 fans that had the opportunity to buy 25 games for just $50. You know, and it's like a membership, so they're here every game, June and July, as many as they want to, and they've been showing up, and it brought some energy to this ballpark last night. Same with tonight. You know, you got a midweek game here against San Diego, and to have a crowd near 26,000 last night, another good crowd here tonight. Can't thank those fans enough for giving it a shot.
Yeah, that program has been a huge success. We had some of those fans with us for the first time last night. A lot of fans taking advantage of our student pass out in the right field bleachers.
Yeah, that's more than doubled, Steve. I mean, you're seeing fans now with a student pass taking advantage of it, anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 a night when they have the opportunity. But it's great in that whole summer pass. We've had over 40% of those who bought it are first-time buyers. So they're just introducing themselves to Major League Baseball here at Chase Field. So they're going to be there. Like, you're hearing these stories about the first time at Chicago at Wrigley or at New York with the Yankees and Yankee Stadium. Same with these folks. They're going to remember these first few games here in June and July, and hopefully they're fans for life and keep coming back year after year.
Well, it's so convenient too. Just use the app on your phone. You get the ticket. You upgrade if you want. It's really, really easy.
The system's been terrific. It really has. And there'll be some glitches we'll get through, but we'll make it very convenient for them.
Now, I have some memories that I'm sure you have. Mark McGwire coming in here around 2000, 2001.
Yep.
And this place being full for batting practice.
Oh, you talk about that home run all the time.
He hit one out, one of the panels up there just to the left of the big board in center field. It went through the panels and out on the street.
And there he is.
Bench coach for Andy Green.
It was amazing, and it was a different period of time when people were hitting home runs. That's why it makes you wonder today, why have home runs really picked up?
Yeah, they have.
And they have. And I think it's made the game exciting.
Well, back with McGwire and Bonds at the time, I was with the Dodgers, and our radio analyst Tom Candiotti, he seemed to always be on the mound, home run after home run.
Well,
so it's a good question to ask him. That guy's neck hurt every time he was out there on the mound.
You guys headed to radio next, is that it?
I think Michael is. I'm not going to skip it.
This is the great Tom Candiotti working D-backs radio just to our right here.
Now he could really make a game go long. I think average time of game with that knuckleballer was about 5-10.
He wasn't in a hurry.
Yeah.
Padres second and third, 2 outs here, and Greinke is run the count full to Luis Torrens, the catcher.
You ask about home runs being up this year. We've seen a lot of guys who have changed their swing to intentionally get the ball in the air more often. A couple guys on this Padres team, a couple guys from the Diamondbacks have benefited from that different swing plane to get the ball in the air more often, and that could certainly be an explanation for the home runs.
So many guys are aware of things like that launch angle and swing plane. You hear that all the time now.
I think when you watch Zimmerman on the Nationals today, I think he's leading the league in batting average and has 17 or so home runs. You can see he has a substantially different swing from that standpoint.
Torrens sends this one out to Descalso in left field. Got a late break, but he runs it down. Derek Hall, Diamondbacks president and CEO, and Prostate Cancer Foundation founder Michael Milken. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bert.
Diamondbacks win. Get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
All 5 runs scored with 2 outs in that third inning as the Diamondbacks send 9 men up to the plate against Luis Perdomo, who has thrown, it's hard to believe, 81 pitches through 3 innings.
Wow.
And Zach Greinke, who led off that third, leads off the 4th. Our thanks again to Derek Hall and Michael Milken for stopping by.
And Nils Lofgren. That was a thrill.
Yeah, how cool was that, huh?
That's really
that
cool.
was a wild card. We didn't know about that.
Not at all. We're glad he was here. Nils Lofgren played on one of my favorite albums of all time, Neil Young, After the Gold Rush. He was playing with Neil Young back then.
We don't have a lot of guys who come into the booth and go, yeah, so I was with the E Street Band and we had to go play. Oh, geez. Oh, wow. Greinke, base hit.
Hurry. Yeah, Renfroe had thoughts about trying to throw him out at first base right there. You usually see that happen a couple times a season where a pitcher swings late, hits a hard line drive into right field where the right fielder's playing shallow and guy gets thrown out at first base. Zach's too crafty for that.
He was thinking about it. Myers kind of overran the bag over there at first. So Zach has a leadoff single. Here's Daniel Descalso, who's 0 for 2. Padres in that top half of this inning were ready to pinch hit for Luis Perdomo. Jose Pirela had come out in the on deck circle with a pitcher spot due up next, but Torrens, the catcher, flying out to left to win the inning. So Perdomo's back out there. Myers has it. There's the 3, there's the 6, and it's a 3-6-3. Well, Myers is still really learning how to play first base. That was well done.
That's one of the toughest plays a first baseman will have, especially a right-handed thrower. You let that ball go to second base and then turn your back to the play to get back to the bag at first. Will Myers handles it perfectly.
Again, Will Myers came up in the Kansas City Royals system as a catcher. And the Padres, when they acquired him, actually tried him out in center field to start the 2015 season. Then later he transitioned to first base. Shift is on for Peralta, who's walked twice.
Just another example of taking a catcher and putting him anywhere on the field.
Boy, if you could put 9 of them out there, you'd really have something. Schimpf, the third baseman, in front of the second base umpire, James Hoy, and Solarte, the second baseman, out there in the outfield. 2-1. Left-hand batters this year hitting .310 against Luis Perdomo. Diamondback lefties tonight. Descalso 0 for 3. Peralta's walked twice. Lamb's homered. Ray Fuentes has a base hit. Perdomo, who's walked 4, behind on Peralta, 3-1. Goldie on deck. That's where the statue goes.
That makes all the sense in the world, you know, it really does.
It's tremendous. Well, if we can get clearance for that, that's a foul ball called by Clint Fagan back there. Peralta walking that off. Maybe you could put it where Goldie is standing right now. You could almost put it inside the front row if you had to keep it off the playing field. But it would, and then you could put some footprints out there where he's actually standing. That would be right in front of Senator McCain's seats, though, so we might have to work something out down there.
Well, we have a retractable roof. You could have a statue that you could lower down into the ground when Senator McCain is here.
Sounds like a Vegas concert for Cher or something. That's a 5-3 putout. We're through 4. 5-2 Diamondbacks.
You know, I wasn't really letting it go today, but my velo was pretty good today still, and you know, just throwing with tape and everything is still, I had the full feel, and I really wasn't going out there trying to blow anyone away. Just making sure everything's good, and mechanically I felt really good.
That was Taijuan Walker discussing his extended spring outing this morning. He threw 64 pitches through 5 innings of work and said he felt great after. No problems with that blister. Torrey was over there watching him at Salt River Fields and said his fastball and curveball really stood out to him. And now the team will closely watch Walker in the next 24 hours, how he's recovering. But Taijuan told me he hopes his next step he takes is out on the big league mound.
Thank you, Kate. Maybe a extended spring training start. They'll kind of see how it goes. Here's Jose Perella, who leads off the 5th, hitting for the pitcher Luis Perdomo. Perella got the start in left field last night. Was 0 for 4 his first game this year. Just called up from AAA El Paso. It all seems to be progressing well with Taijuan Walker. You want to make sure that that blister's totally gone, right? Otherwise you open it up and you start all over again.
Well, we saw what happened, or has happened and continues to happen, with Rich Hill down in Los Angeles. They think they have it healed up and he's able to go back out and take the mound, and after 2 or 3 or 4 innings they got to pull the plug once again, let him sit down for a week or 2 to cool that blister off again. You don't want that. Try to heal it up as best you can. Make sure it doesn't flare up again just throwing a bullpen session.
Taijuan throwing that fastball curveball today. They just don't want it to keep setting him back. And as Kate mentioned, it was covered up, so he's throwing with tape on it. Just keep it closed, but the next step would be obviously throwing without the tape, because you can't do that in a big league game.
Nope.
Franchi Cordero, the center fielder, on deck. Look out, radio. The moral compass, Mike Farron almost had that one.
He's over there making excuses. I assume he missed it.
There he is, ducking for cover.
You did see it?
I think he's got it.
You saw it.
There's Leo Gilmartin straightening things out back there in the radio booth. This is down the right field line, and that's a fair ball in the corner. Perella is in at second, a leadoff double. Well, I don't know how that stayed fair.
Yeah, Perella hit a couple balls hard in the game last night. He's really a slasher. There's nothing pretty or technical about his swing. He just has a little bit of a leg kick, takes a long stride, and then just tries to get the barrel on the ball wherever it's pitched.
First big league hit this year, Jose Perella. He was having a big year at AAA El Paso, hitting over 330 down there with 13 home runs. So he's at second, nobody out for the center fielder. It's Franchi Cordero. Cordero has lined out to left. He hit a sort of a lazy fly ball out to right field that turned David Peralta all around and dropped in for a triple. Scored on a Solarte RBI single. That made it 2-0 San Diego. Diamondbacks answered in the home half of the third with 5 runs, all with 2 outs. Jake Lamb a 3-run home run. Brandon Drury a 2-run shot.
Yeah, Diamondbacks are tied with the Washington Nationals and the Colorado Rockies atop the major leagues with 5 or more run innings. 5 or more runs in an inning.
Base hit for Cordero. Perella coming home. Here's the throw. And it's not in time. Well, Perella can really run. So the RBI for Cordero, and it's a 5-3 D-backs lead. A couple of base hits by the Padres. Greek Greinke in the 5th.
You're right. Perella can really run. This ball was hit into right field. And just watching the timing of the play and when David picked it up and where Perella was at that particular time, he shifted it into another gear to get onto the plate ahead of the Jeff Mathis tag.
Just ahead. Padres now out-hit the Diamondbacks 7-5, but it's a 5-3 ball game. And here's Solarte, who has knocked in 2 of the 3 San Diego runs, a home run and a single. 84 pitches for Zach Greinke, still looking for his first out in this 5th inning. Greinke 6-1 in his last 8 starts. His ERA just under 3 over that span. 5-0 in 7 starts at home this year. Franchi Cordero's a big lanky guy over there, 6'3", 175. He's only 22 years old. Called up from AAA El Paso, hitting about 290 there with 7 home runs. He's been converted from a shortstop to an outfielder. Really moved up 3 levels of the Padres minor league system last season. This is foul ground, third base side for Lamb.
Hey fans, we invite you to participate in Gila River game nights by signing up at one of the interactive kiosks located at Chase Field during any D-backs home game.
Well, Will Myers, who is 3rd in the National League in strikeouts, has been up twice. He struck out twice.
It did take Zach Greinke 13 pitches to get those 2 strikeouts. The first punch out took 5. The second one took 8.
Myers is scuffling the last 6 weeks or so. Always dangerous. That's what Andy Green says. He wants Will Myers, no matter how bad it gets in spurts. Always remember how good he is, and no matter what happens in the cold stretches. Andy believes that Myers is going to come back. He believes Myers has to keep that in his head at all times. That'll help him kind of relax up there. And when he's relaxed at the plate, he's as good a hitter as there is.
You know, occasionally it's kind of interesting to watch a good hitter struggle. I mean, we've seen Goldie from time to time when he takes fastballs right down the middle and swings at pitches out of the zone, which is totally out of character for Paul Goldschmidt. And the same thing goes for Will Myers. He just took a fastball right down the middle earlier in the game. He took one up and out over the plate in the strike zone. Pitches that he would normally drive into the gap in right center or lift him in the air to left field, but just kind of in between right now. And when you see a good hitter go through it, it makes you realize how tough this game is.
Greinke may have wanted that fastball, didn't get the call from Clint Fagan. It's 2-1. Pitch number 90 on the way. There's that slider, didn't get it. It's 3-1. Hunter Renfroe grounded out in single. He's on deck. Will Myers finally healthy over the entire season last year, turned into an all-star player. 28 home runs. He drove in 94 runs, stole almost 30 bases. Greinke issues his first base on ball, so a run is in this 5th inning. Over 90 pitches for the ball game now. First and second, 1 out for Renfroe. Big at bat in the ball game right here for Zach Greinke.
And we know what Renfroe's capable of doing, and Zach Greinke's well aware of that out there on the mound. See how he attacks this big right-handed pull hitter.
As we've told you, Renfroe will go looking for big fastballs and big swings when he's ahead in the count. So it's very important not to get behind him against him. He homered twice last night. Cordero at second and Myers at first. Lays off the slider. It's 1-0. Hunter Renfroe, 13 home runs. That's the second most by a Padres rookie before the All-Star break, behind only the great Nate Colbert, who had 14 at the break in 1969. It's been that long. Mike Butcher and Torey Lovullo going over things, with Greinke's pitch count escalating quickly here. Went back to the slider, missed again. It's 2-0.
Back-to-back sliders just off that outside corner, hoping to get Hunter Renfroe to chase something.
Now he's ahead in the count 2-0. Now he's looking for that fastball. Lays off. It's in there, 2-1. He's been more and more selective. That's been the key for Hunter Renfroe. They've kind of been all over him. You got to take more walks. I mean, Andy Green is a huge believer in Hunter Renfroe as a slugger. But he says, you know, as a hitter, of course, it's always been in there. The power's never been a doubt. It's just about consistently working at a positive counts. And Renfroe has done that more and more. And this is another good example here, up 2-1. Another slider, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan Schimpf, always dangerous, has struck out twice. He's on deck. Ephus pitch. No, they can't get together. A lot of times he'll shake off a few times when he's throwing that Ephus, I think, just to kind of make a whole package.
And you saw him kind of looking there at Jeff Matheson, point at him like, you were right. Let's go with the one you called.
He wanted the curveball, 77, but Renfroe doesn't chase, and it's full 3-2. Mike Butcher on the bullpen phone. Big pitch right here. A run is in. 2 on, 1 out, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hunter Renfroe. Got him. He got the fastball. That's what he likes. Couldn't lay off the high one.
He had to work for it, but he finally got the strikeout he was looking for against a very dangerous customer. Started him with back-to-back sliders, almost the same location, just off the outside corner, trying to get him to bite. Threw that fastball right down the middle. I'm surprised Hunter Renfroe didn't swing at that one. Another slider, the big slow curve, and then a 92-mile-an-hour heater well above the top of the zone to get strike 3.
Well, you got big Renfroe up there at 6'1", 220. Here's Schimpf, 5'9", 180, but he's just as big a power threat. In fact, might be more. As Renfroe has 13 homers, this guy has 14. But so far today, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Diamondbacks have the shift on against Ryan Schimpf. Owings, the shortstop, out there in short right field. Ooh, there's the Ephus, 65, and somehow Schimpf was able to hold off.
I mean, rarely will you get a call up in the zone on this pitch because it has so much break because of the lack of velocity. That actually caught the top of the strike zone, but when it went by the front of home plate, it looked like it was about helmet high.
And that was more Ephus-y than normal.
That was only 65 that time.
But he had that. Now he's starting to throw that arc in there with it a little bit. Here's number 100. Fastball up. 100 pitches for Greinke, 59 for strikes. Cordero's at second, Myers at first, 2 outs. Just got a piece of the fastball, and it's 2-2. All right, let's get together on this last pitch and strand these 2 and get out of here.
And this could be another one of those situations also where Jeff Mathis and Zach Greinke are going to determine what they're throwing on 2-2. If it happens to be ball 3, what are we going to throw on the full count pitch? Because I don't want to flash any signs with that runner at second base. See if he even hangs a sign here.
There is Cordero at second. Myers at first. 2 on, 2 outs, 2 balls, and 2 strikes.
Yep, just kind of said, bring it on. I know what you're going to throw.
Got him! Zach Greinke strands 2. He's got 8 strikeouts through 5 and a 5-3 lead. He struck out Renfroe and rings up Schimpf. Bottom 5 on the way.
Top half of the 5th. D-backs still lead at 5-3. Time to take a look back at this day in baseball history. Brought to you by Geico on June 7th, 1966. The Oakland A's selected future Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson with the 2nd overall pick in the amateur draft. Which makes you ask, well, who was the first pick? Well, the first pick was a catcher by the name of Steve Chilcott out of high school that never made it to the major leagues. Just shows you how much of an inexact science all this scouting and the draft and trying to identify talent when a kid's 17, 18 years old. What's he going to look like in 5 years? What's he going to look like in 10 years?
Well, here's Craig Stammen, the new Padre pitcher. Look at the guy who's at the plate. 8th round pick. Who knew?
Who knew? Draft's coming up June 12th through the 14th.
Goldie has struck out and walked so far tonight. Craig Stammen on in relief of Luis Perdomo. Stammen has pitched multiple innings in 9 of his last 19 outings this year. Here's where the Diamondbacks pick. Twins are #1 overall. Jose Pirela takes over at second base, replacing on Hervis Solarte. Solarte now at third. Ryan Schimpf is out of the game. So Pirela at second base bats 9th. Pitcher spot now 5th in the Padre order. Solarte now at third. Pirela the second baseman. Goldie ahead 3-1. That's headed for the right field corner, but out of play. I don't want to call Craig Stammen a, kind of a mop-up guy, because that's not fair. But in his 19 appearances this year, the Padres are 1-18.
Ouch.
So just give us some innings here. Keep it close. That's what they're telling him. Right back to the mound. Our State Farm winning combo. Jake Lamb a walk and a 3-run homer. First RBIs this year. There he is, #1 in the majors. Jake Lamb now with 53. Jake really heating up if you count tonight. Last 10 games. He's got 4 doubles, a triple, a home run, 11 RBIs. And Jake in the third, number 15 was a no-doubter.
Oh man, hanging slider up and out over the plate.
No, it just took a nice easy swing too. He doesn't need to go up there trying to kill the ball all the time. He's got that natural power. Having an all-star season, Jake Lamb. Major League's RBI leader. And on a run batted in tear lately, drove in 4 last night. He's got 3 tonight. Two and 2. Ken Crenshaw, Diamondbacks athletic trainer, on the right there with Zach Greinke. Well, Kenny's been around a bit, hasn't he?
Oh yeah.
He's seen a lot of baseball and a lot of baseball players in his day. There's a fly ball, deep right field, but playable for Renfroe. Broke back, he'll come in. 2 outs.
Partner, it was a great night for the Diamondbacks organizational last night. They swept top to bottom. Diamondbacks won here 10-2 over the Padres. The Reno Aces won 12-9. Ketel Marte with a home run in that game. Jackson was a 4-2 winner in 14 innings. Visalia a 6-1 winner. Kane County won 3-2, and both the what we call the Fire League teams here in Arizona won. Every team in the organization a winner last night.
Well, and Ildemaro Vargas down there at Reno, he's killing the ball right now. He's on a hitting tear, and Ketel Marte's been that way since day one. Here's Chris Owings. CO singled, scored a run his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Ildemaro Vargas really impressed in spring training this year. Guy can play second, shortstop, third. Another great Diamondback signing out of independent ball. He's got a good chance. That fastball's in there for strike 3, and Stammen works a 1-2-3 5th inning. 6th inning coming up. It's 5-3 Diamondbacks. D-backs lead the Padres 5-3, trying to keep pace with these Colorado Rockies. Boy, these guys are just bludgeoning people. They beat up on Cleveland today 8-1. So the Diamondbacks right now, as of this moment, are 2.5 behind the Rockies for the National League West lead. Now the Dodgers are keeping pace. They're only a smidge ahead of Arizona. It was Clayton Kershaw versus Steven Strasburg in LA today, and Kershaw got the win. So the Dodgers won, the Rockies won. And oh, by the way, Gene Segura got paid in Seattle a 5-year, $70 million deal with the Mariners.
Good for Gene Segura. We really enjoyed having Gene on the ball club last year. He was a shot of energy every night.
He was their most consistent player, probably from the first day to the last. And they were very excited to get him. Diamondbacks got Taijuan Walker in that deal, of course, and Ketel Marte, who we were just talking about a moment ago. Alan Cordoba leads off the 6th against the new Diamondback pitcher. The Ashline call to the bullpen gives us the right-hander J.J. Hoover. His 25th appearance of the year. So Zach Greinke goes 5 innings tonight, threw a lot of pitches. He was kind of in pretty good shape through 3, but got bogged down with a lot of full counts in that 4th, and then a couple of extra batters faced in the 5th. And now we're going to spend some time showing Alan Cordoba where the batter's box is. Cordoba, just a Rule 5 pick, only 21 years old. And Clint Fagan having a moment there with him.
Right on that back line of the right-handed batter's box, and we've said it many times, any part of your foot in contact with any part of the line, you're considered to be inside the batter's box. Had to learn that with Gonzo and that goofy stance he had in the left-handed box.
Don't complain, it worked out.
Yes, it did.
Hoover gets that fastball by Cordoba. It's 2-2. J.J. Hoover, longtime Cincinnati Reds setup man. 22 strikeouts in his last 13 games. Right back at you.
Hey fans, you can add the D-backs pool towel to your collectibles this Saturday, June 10th, before the D-backs Brewers game, courtesy of Gila River Casinos. This is a full body, I guess it depends on your body, really soft towel, perfect for the pool this summer. The first 20,000 fans will get the D-backs pool towel courtesy of Gila River Casinos. Get tickets at dbacks.com.
Eric Ibar singled and stole the bases last time up. Ibar 4 homers already, one more than he hit all of last year. And 2 of those 4 home runs have come against the Diamondbacks. Padres had Luis Sardinus as their shortstop for much of the second half of last year. But they brought in Ibar. Sardinus was recently waived and picked up by Baltimore. And in the meantime, Ibar is hitting under 150 in his last 17 games, and he's got a base hit here tonight. He always seems to be that fly in the ointment in this series. Of course, he hit that home run off Zach Greinke to win that 1-0 game at Petco earlier this year. Hoover's got some zip on that fastball tonight. It's 2-2.
Yeah, J.J. Hoover has a fastball that in scout terminology plays up. He's throwing 92, 93, occasionally 94, but it looks a lot quicker to the hitter, judging by some of the swings we've seen him take on fastballs, especially up in the zone.
Is that what they also mean by sneaky fast?
Yeah, same thing. You know, you look at the radar gun reading and you tell yourself, as a hitter, man, he's throwing harder than that. It's got to be more than 93. I can't get the barrel to it. But he very short delivery, almost a quick slide step into his delivery to home plate. I mean, he's got a good fastball, don't get me wrong, but it looks a lot quicker than it reads on the radar gun.
So Andrew Chafin starting to get loose down there. Breaking ball missed, and Ibar's worked at full 3-2. Luis Torrens, the catcher, 0 for 2. He's on deck. Just got a piece of that fastball. Ibar all his powers from the left-hand side of the plate, a switch hitter. That's where he's hit all of his 4 home runs. Batting average kind of negligible. He's 200 lefty, 185 righty. Well, Hoover lost him. 1-out walk will bring up Torrens. JJ might have overthrown that fastball a bit.
Luis Torrens.
Torrens is grounded out, flied out 0 for 2. Luis Torrens going through the exact same thing the Diamondbacks went through a couple of years ago with Oscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
A Rule 5 catcher. And of course, as a Rule 5 pick, you have to be on the big league roster the entire year or be returned. Just about the entire year. And you know, a lot of time Luis Perdomo was a Rule 5 guy. You can hide those guys in the bullpen. Occasionally there's the extra outfielder who's a Rule 5 guy, but Rule 5 catchers, you got to play those guys.
That's an oddity. Yeah.
Yeah. And at least once in a while, Oscar didn't get to play very much. On the ground is shortstop Owens. Curry can't get it out of the glove, and the throw is high.
Look tailor-made right there. CO got the ball to Brandon Drury in pretty good shape, but Brandon just couldn't get the ball out of his glove. By the time he does, he doesn't have a great grip on it and throws high to Goldie. That'll be a fielder's choice for Torrens. Force out at second base.
Jose Pirela doubled and scored his last time up. Hit one hard down the right field line into the corner for a double. Scored on a Franchi Cordero RBI single. That was in the last inning. Made it 5-3 Diamondbacks. Jose Pirela, a guy who spent parts of 9 seasons in the Yankees system. Played fewer than 50 games in the big leagues in pinstripes. Padres got him before last year. Hard to find a position that Jose Pirela hasn't played. 10 years in the minors, 6 years of winter ball. He's done everything but pitch and catch. Slider got away from Hoover that time, and it's 3-1.
Yeah, just a little too wide that time. Pirela really wants to swing that bat. If JJ could scoot that ball over just a couple of inches, you probably get the swing you're looking for.
He's having a good year in the Coast League. Pirela hitting .331, 13 home runs. Bounces it up the middle and into center. Jose Pirela 2 for 2.
We mentioned in his last at bat back in the 5th when he slashed that ball into the right field corner. He's just a hacker. I mean, once he starts his bat, it reminds me a little bit of Vladimir Guerrero. Just swing hard and get the barrel on it.
Torey Lovullo got Andrew Chafin ready in the bullpen, and the left-hander's on his way in. 2 on and 2 out in the 6th inning. Diamondbacks lead the Padres 5-3. Back at Chase Field, our Cox high-speed highlights. Yangervis Solarte got it started for the Padres. A first-inning home run off Zach Greinke. Diamondbacks answered with 5 runs in the third, all with 2 outs. A 3-run homer by Jake Lamb, 2-run shot by Brandon Drury. Greinke went only 5 innings in the ball game, threw a lot of pitches there. A.J. Hoover got the first 2 outs of this 6th inning, and now here is Andrew Chafin, the left-hander. 25 appearances, a 2.21 ERA. He's got 23 strikeouts in his last 14 appearances. Brought on to face the left-hander Franchy Cordero, the leadoff man, who has tripled, singled, and scored a run tonight. The catcher Luis Torrens at second. Jose Pirela good speed at first. It's blocked by Jeff Mathis, so it looks like LeBron is on the verge of getting eliminated, apparently. Warriors finished up with an 11-0 run. So they beat the Cavaliers in Cleveland, so it's 3-0 Golden State. 30 points for Klay Thompson. Durant had 31. Chafin's spiking some sliders up there. It's 2-0.
I was just going to say, when Andrew came into the ball game, I think that's been the big reason for his turnaround recently is the slider. He's really been getting on top of it. A lot of downward movement. Been able to throw it for strikes to the back door. Been able to throw it to the back foot to right-handed hitters, but just can't command those first 2 here tonight.
Chafin has been really sharp lately. Opposition has been held scoreless in 12 of his last 14 games, but behind here 2-0.
Doesn't really need to be overly concerned with Luis Torrens out there at second base. He doesn't run well. He's a very cautious base runner on top of it. Just make sure he stops.
Fastball's a strike, and it's 2-1. Franchy Cordero, only 22. This is only his 10th game of the big leagues. Another fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Firm fastball at 95. It is not a soft tossing lefty coming out of the bullpen here.
Andrew started off a little sketchy this year, had some ups and downs, but boy, the last 6 or 8 weeks he has just been nails. Here's the 2-2. Gets him to wave at that slider. Chafin comes in, strands 2, keeps it a 5-3 Diamondbacks lead.
Day on the calendar is the 1st of July. That's right. We're going to be celebrating Independence Day early this year. Game time on July 1st is 7:10, and 20,000 fans will get the soft style State 48 patriotic t-shirt. Then after the D-backs Rockies game, fans can relax as the roof opens up for a fireworks spectacular show presented by Gila River Casinos. Buy tickets now at dbacks.com.
That is a big series against those first place Rockies coming up. June 30th, July 1st, July 2nd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll hope to see you here at Chase Field as Brandon Drury, who homered his last time up, leads off the 6th. I hate seeing that promo because it reminds me where we're going to be on July 4th.
I don't even like to think about it.
It's awful. Just awful. Dodger Stadium. Will they imagine if they play some John Philip Sousa through the Death Star speaker in center field? That might just tear down the whole building.
Might wake John Philip Sousa.
1812 overture or something. Crank it up.
Yeah, it's a miracle that Dodger Stadium hasn't collapsed. That Death Star. It's got to rattle the rafters.
It rattles our booth, and we're what, 500 feet away.
Yeah.
The booth literally shakes when they get that thing going. Fastball is a strike. Drury's homer in the 3rd is 5th of the year. 2-run shot. All 5 Diamondbacks runs coming with 2 outs in that 3rd inning. 3-run homer Jake Lamb, 2-run shot Brandon Drury. Lays off that fastball. He's worked it full 3-2. Ray Fuentes, who singled his last time up, on deck. Leadoff walk. Greg Stammen able to give usually Andy Green some length coming out of that bullpen, at least 2 innings or so. He worked a scoreless 1-2-3 5th. Now he walks Drury to open up the 6th. That brings up Fuentes. Ray is 1 for 2. He's flat out single. He'll start tonight in center field. Started Sunday's game in Miami and had 3 hits, including a double against the Marlins. Just about everything else in the big leagues is wrapped up. Twins and Mariners are still playing in Seattle. Minnesota leads at 5-3 in the 6th. A lot of day games today. Some early starts. Hello. Tried the corner and missed, and Drury will get up to 2nd.
How did you hold that one? Well, if you're going to throw a wild pitch, make it a really wild pitch. What's the tracer on this one? Just a bit outside. Tried to overthrow a changeup right there, got away from it.
We have seen some weird, wild stuff today.
It has been a bizarre game up to this point.
And that play where Luis Torrens caught a ball 4 and threw it into center field, trying to throw out a base runner, even though there was no defender at second base. David Peralta lost a fly ball out in right field, got all turned around, dropped in for a triple. Fuentes ahead 2-0. Pops up a bunt attempt. Solarte and Torrens can't get there. with his speed, if he can get a bunt down, he can really get up that line. Fuentes has stolen nearly 250 bases over the course of 9 years in the minors. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Check this swing. Laid off the curveball. Jeff Kellogg says no. Full count, 3-2. So back-to-back full counts to open up this inning for Craig Stammen. Jeff Mathis, the catcher, on deck. Here it is on 3-2. All 4. He's walked the first 2 batters in the Diamondbacks 6th. That's 6 walks issued by Andy Green's pitchers tonight. Jeff Mathis 0 for 2.
And both walks in this inning. Brandon Drury to lead it off, and Ray Fuentes right there to put runners at first and second. Came on 3-2 sliders. It's like Stammen doesn't want to throw his fastball.
The entire infield's going to huddle up. Aaron Balsley, no, Andy Green's running out there. Calling a team meeting here. Greeny's got his hands full here with a very young ball club. They got 3 Rule 5 guys on the team right now. A bunch of, kids that are 21 and 22 on this Padre ball club. And for all his experience managing in the Diamondback minor league system, this is a guy that is really good with young players. And he's got lots of them in San Diego this year.
Yeah, he gets a big assist from Eric Ibar at shortstop, who kind of acts as a coach on the field. Not a lot of experience on this Padres team, at least major league experience. And Ibar's a guy that when there's a trip made to the mound, he'll always be there, whether it's a pitching coach or the manager, to help translate, to help clarify things as to what the Padres want to do defensively. They don't always execute it, but he's kind of the conduit.
Well, here we go. Corners crash. Solarte picks it up from third. And a tough play there by Yangervis Solarte. Throws out Mathis. Drury and Fuentes move up.
Nice job by Jeff Mathis right there. Diamondbacks are going to pinch hit for the pitcher spot, so it makes sense to bunt with the number 8 hitter, moving 2 guys into scoring position for the pinch hitter, Jeremy Hazelbaker. Nicely done, right down that third baseline. Solarte kind of stumbled a little bit as he went to plant his feet there.
Barella, the second baseman, has to hustle over to the bag to receive that throw. And the runners move up, second and third, 1 out. Jeremy Hazelbaker will hit for the pitcher, Chafin. Andy Green going to go to his bullpen now. He's got a left-hander down there ready. Trying to keep this a 5-3 Diamondback lead. Diamondbacks lead the Padres, threatening more in the 6th. Back in a moment. Pinch hitter Jeremy Hazelbaker. Diamondbacks lead at 5-3 with runners at second and third here in the home half of the sixth inning. We saw Torres in the ball game last night, came on to work the seventh. Gave up a single to Brandon Drury, then got 3 more outs. And what turned out to be a 10-2 Diamondback win. So he's brought on here to face a whole bunch of left-handers coming up. Hazelbaker, Descalso, Peralta. Hazelbaker will hit for the pitcher. Jeremy struck out twice in 2 at-bats last night, 286 with a home run. Infield in for the Padres. Drury at third base, Fuentes at second. Jeremy 3 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year, a double and 2 runs batted in. Just recalled from AAA Reno yesterday when Yasmani Tomas went on the DL with that right groin tendonitis. Remember, there was a while very early in the season where every time Hazelbaker came up, he got a base hit. He couldn't get him out. Very first week.
Yeah, he throwing the ball all over the ballpark. I mean, this is the life of a left-handed bench player, pinch hitter. Finally get called upon to go up there and hit for the pitcher, and you got to face a guy throwing 95 and has very little idea where it's going.
Such is the case with Jose Torres. Jeremy Hazelbaker broke camp with the Diamondbacks on the opening day roster. Played the first month of the season with the D-backs. Went to Reno on May 4th. Just back up yesterday. When he was down at Reno, he hit almost .330 with 5 home runs. 2 balls and no strikes. Big cut at that fastball. It's 2-1. Got his 2-0 fastball there. Brandon Drury, the runner at third. Ray Fuentes at second. 1 out, 2 balls and 1 strike to Jeremy Hazelbaker. Another fastball, 2-2. Infield still in for San Diego. 2 more lefties behind Hazelbaker and Descalso and Peralta.
Tony Perez-Chica reminding Brandon Drury down there at third base to be heads up for a breaking ball in the dirt. A lot of times when a left-handed pitcher gets ahead of a left-handed hitter, 2-strike count, they go to that breaking pitch, and a lot of times it ends up in the dirt.
Couldn't check, got the fastball and strikes out. 2 down. Torres and Torrens going over the plan for Descalso, who has grounded out 3 times today from the leadoff spot. The last time they did a double play. Padres infield with 2 outs, backs off now. We'd really like to see a base hit here. It's still only a 2-run lead. The way Fuentes runs, anything through the infield is pretty much guaranteed to score 2. Archie Bradley warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. He'll get the 7th. I think he's still recovering from that at bat against A.J. Ellis Sunday in Miami. That was, wow. That was like a mini series. Ellis finally won with a RBI single. It was the difference of the ball game in that finale in Miami. One and two. Chased a high fastball. Diamondbacks have second and third, one out. They strand two. It stays 5-3 D-backs. And on from the Diamondback bullpen is the right-hander Archie Bradley. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Matinee game fans, don't forget you can get matinee pricing dbacks.com for this ball game. It's a 12:40 first pitch. D-backs live pregame show comes your way at noon, high noon, for Clayton Richard, the left-hander, and lefty Patrick Corbin. And then the Brewers are in for three starting on Friday night. So here's Archie Bradley after that epic battle with A.J. Ellis Sunday in Miami. What an at-bat that was. Archie's 20th appearance of the year, a 1.40 ERA.
What did that end up? 14 pitches in that at-bat?
And I think, I want to say, top of my head, it was only one curveball. It was just one after the other fastball. And Ellis finally was able to knock a base hit into left center. And what turned out to be the biggest bat of the ball game. Jeremy Hazelbaker stays in the game. He takes over in left field for Daniel Descalso. So Hazelbaker bats ninth, pitcher spot now first for the D-backs. And here's Yangervis Solarte, who's knocked in 2 runs tonight, a solo homer and RBI single. Mound, Owings behind the bag at shortstop. One down. Well, it was something to see Archie battle A.J. Ellis in that AB. One fastball after another. He was just not going to give in. And Ellis, a veteran hitter, he was able to foul them off one after the other, and just on it went. It was something to see. Well, Myers has struck out twice and walked. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, at some point it stops being an at bat and turns into a personal challenge. And you know the old cliche, don't get beat with your second best pitch. And Archie's best pitch is that fastball, and he was bound determined he wasn't going to roll a curveball up there and let A.J. Ellis beat him on that pitch.
Tom Candiotti and I were in the booth like, okay, he's going to throw a curveball now. Well, no, nope. All right, how about now? Nope, still fastball. And Archie's learning. You know, he served up the walk-off homer to Andrew McCutchen in Pittsburgh. Had the battle with Ellis in Miami. If you're going to pitch in these high-leverage situations, it's going to happen from time to time. It's all part of the process. There's that curveball to Myers. It's 1-2. I'll give Archie credit. He has stuck with that beard since the first day.
He was born.
You might think. 97. He just did get a piece of that one. He described that in spring training as luscious. That was what, 2 months ago. Longer. Now it's extra luscious. Oh, strike 3. Dots the fastball at 97, and Myers strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. He's already punched out 5 times in the series, Will Myers.
I'm telling you, just get him out of town. He's going to get hot at some point.
Look at the location on this pitch at 97. Good luck with that.
Right there at the knees, just inside of the outside corner.
Well, here's a guy that loves fastballs. It's Hunter Renfroe. Singled in the 4th. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Homered twice here last night. Came in that time and missed. It's 1-0. Renfroe has homered 3 times in his last 2 games. Big gutted that one. He came up through the minor leagues just crushing fastballs with that big violent swing of his. He kind of almost like a caveman with a club up there. Here's another one. And his coaches in the minors, he worked with guys like Jamie Quirk and Morgan Burkhardt. Just trying to quiet down that swing. You don't have to try and hit it so hard all the time. Less movement. Keep that head still. Called strike 3. Archie Bradley gets a ground ball out, then strikes out Myers and Renfroe. He works through the 2, 3, 4 parts of this Padre lineup. We stretch at Chase Field. It's 5-3 Diamondbacks.
Welcome back. I'm Kate Longworth. Jake Lamb coming up third here in the bottom of the 7th. Diamondbacks with a 2-run lead. And Jake leads the league with 53 RBI and is currently riding an 11-game hitting streak here at home. So I think it's safe to say all eyes are on Lamb right now, including his own. That's right. Jake explained to me that one of the difference makers that's helped his comfort level here at the plate is he's been watching a lot of video of his own at-bats. He said it's helped him when things are a little off to just know where his hand placement should be, how he should distribute that weight on his feet. And guys, it's paying off.
It sure is, Kate. Thanks. David Peralta comes up, base hit off the lefty. New pitcher for the Padres is Brad Hand. And there's a leadoff single. You see, Bob, in that Diamondback dugout that Jake was looking at, all those iPads lined up in a row.
Yeah, that's quite a step forward in technology in baseball. You used to have to run up to the video room. Occasionally there was a monitor right behind the dugout where you could go look at your previous at bats or look at a pitcher that's coming in out of the bullpen, but they've got them all lined up right there on the back of that bench. You can pull up any pitcher on this Padres staff. The pitchers can pull up any hitter in the Padres lineup. They can look at their own at bats. They can look at how a pitcher pitches a guy that's maybe similar to you in the lineup.
It's kind of unbelievable to think about.
It really is. I mean, I just had a flash in my mind. I went into the Padres clubhouse when Tony Gwynn was still an active player. Got to the ballpark about noon one day and wandered in there, and I saw Tony Gwynn's video setup. He had a big old black foot locker that had a VCR and just stacks and stacks of VCR tapes. Every hitter he was likely to face in a series. And you had to haul that foot locker everywhere you went. Now you put it all on an iPad, stick it in your bag, and go.
It's unbelievable. Watch it on the plane, just sitting in your lap, and look at this. There's a line at this thing. They're actually watching Weekend at Bernie's 2.
I was just thinking it might be a menu. They're selecting what they want for the post-game meal.
1-1 to Goldie. Paul tonight has walked, struck out, grounded out. He's 0 for 2. Diamondbacks still trying to pad that 5-3 lead. They stranded 2 in the last half inning. Brad Hand can be tough. Opposing hitters only about $160 against him this year. Base hit. A pair of singles open up the Diamondbacks 7th. Our Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing, cool play of the game. Jake Lamb, after a pair of 2-out walks in the 3rd, there it goes, number 15. Now leading the major leagues with 53 runs batted in. He had 4 RBIs last night, 3 tonight. And he's up there first and second, nobody out. Jake this year 8 for 55 versus left-handers. He's homered twice off lefties. That's a 145 batting average against left-hand pitchers. Well, this is a situation that sometimes the Diamondbacks might start some runners. I know Lamb's up there, but that's in the heads of all these opposing pitchers now, as they try and counterpunch Torey Lovullo's running game. Ball 1. Torey Lovullo was talking about Jake Lamb against lefties. He knows he's making adjustments. It's a process, but they really believe he's making progress. At some point, he's going to figure it out.
gave you this number earlier. Jake Lamb, 11 for his last 19 with runners in scoring position. Driven in 19 runs with those 11 hits.
D-backs have still been out hit 8-7, but they lead at 5-3. There's Ibar sneaking in behind Peralta. Ibar right in his back pocket. One to Lamb. There go the runners. They're off and running. The throw to third. Not in time. Double steal. Number 5 for Peralta. Number 13 for Goldie. Brad Hand looked awfully twitchy out there, and sure enough, they were off and running.
A clean throwing lane for Torrens that time. Short hop the throw down there, and Solarte just searching for something to tag right there. Kind of lost his balance, came off the bag, and David, to his credit, slid to the far outside edge of the bag that time. 10th double steal this season for the Diamondbacks, most in the major leagues.
Infield comes in for San Diego. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jake Lamb. That kicks away from Torrens. Here comes the freight train, and he's home at 6-3.
Torrens just did not account for the spin on that slider in the dirt that time. He got his body into a good position, but when the ball hit the dirt, it kicked back to his right, caught him on the side of the chest protector, and got away far enough for the Diamondbacks to score a run and advance Goldie on to third.
Well, this would be a night that Luis Torrens would like to probably forget. Not all his fault, of course, they're wild pitches, but that's number 4 for the Padres tonight. Lamb takes the walk. The run is in. First and third, no outs for Chris Owings now. CO singled and scored in the third. He's 1 for 3 tonight. 7 walks issued by San Diego pitchers. Owings homered here last night, his 7th of the year. That's out of play.
37 wild pitches for the San Diego pitching staff, most in the majors. Now, most catchers, if they're honest, will tell you that a lot of wild pitches you feel like you should have blocked. And that last one was a perfect example for Torrens. He got his body into a good position, maybe because of inexperience. He just did not account for the spin on the ball and what it was going to do when it hit the dirt. But it's credited as a wild pitch to Brad Hand.
Big cut at that slider from Hand, that it's 0-2. That usually the difference, pass ball, wild pitch, if it hits the dirt?
Usually that's the determining factor, yeah. How about this, partner? So far in this series, Padres have 13 hits, Diamondbacks have 14. Padres have scored 5 runs, the D-backs have scored 16. 1 more hit, but 11 more runs. That's a good indicator that it doesn't matter how many you get, it's when you get them.
And a whole bunch last night. 2 in the first, 5 in the second, 3 in the fourth, trying to tack on some more here.
Come on, be handy, hurry.
Zoom ball almost got to the backstop. Paul Goldschmidt at third, Jake Lamb at first. A run is in, still nobody out here in the 7th.
The Diamondbacks have been the beneficiary of 13 walks from the Padres pitching staff already in the first game and 7 innings of this series. 6 of those 13 walks came around to score.
Interestingly enough, none of the walks tonight have come around to score.
Well, the two guys, David Peralta and Paul Goldschmidt, both walked ahead of the Jake Lamb home run.
Oh,
the 3-run bomb.
Correct. Well, I don't know how CO was able to check that time. Archie Bradley throwing a no-hitter in there.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Might be the beard. 2-2. Look out. Boy, Goldie duck and cover down there at third.
You know, we pointed out every time that happens, a loud foul ball down that third baseline with a runner at third. That's why the runner leads off in foul territory. If the ball would have happened to hit Goldie in foul territory, it's just a foul ball. If he's standing in fair territory and gets hit, however, he is out.
Right field for Renfroe. He's got it. Here comes Goldschmidt. Lamb breaks for second, and Goldie is out at home. Hunter Renfroe's got a big-time arm out there, and they cut down Goldschmidt at the plate.
Wow, what a throw by Hunter Renfroe that time. Torlavella with the hand up, indicating they're taking a look at it. All the way in the air.
Yeah, he can really chuck it. This has been a guy who's always had great raw arm strength. Will Goldie get that foot in time?
I think it's worth taking a look. Torrens kind of reached back blindly. He knew Goldie was somewhere in the vicinity as he tracks that ball coming from right field, and when he wheeled around and tried to tag Goldie, I'm not so sure he got him before Goldie got underneath and on the plate.
Well, we'll put on the headsets and take a look. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, on the left there. Clint Faget on the right, the home plate umpire. Look at Renfroe checking out the DBTV board. Trying to get an angle. Here's another angle. Oh, he's in there.
Safe. Yeah, there we go.
Great work by our crew. Nice job, guys. That's a terrific look at that.
Yeah, really, every other look we had, it was tough to tell if there was contact between the glove and Goldie's left leg, but that one view we just showed you certainly appeared like he got in there.
I'm going to go ahead and erase right now. I feel good about this one.
Well, normally I would join you, but anytime you get umpires involved, I'm just going to hold on.
You know, I'm actually a little thankful we had a quick inning when the commissioner was here yesterday, because one more batter and we would have gone there.
Our boy Johnny D'Acquisto standing there with the umpires, telling them, "Come on, he's safe."
He's going to do a painting of this play. He's clearly safe there. Taking a good long look in New York.
Yeah, kind of puzzling to me. Clint Faget on that play. He's safe at home.
Nice job. D-backs win the challenge, put the run on the board, 7-3.
Watch the home plate umpire look back at Goldie. I mean, he's on the plate. Usually you check the defender to see if he hung on to the baseball. Doesn't matter. Goldie safe.
RBI for Chris Owings. Jake Lamb at second now, 1 out. And here's Drury, who homered in the third. Either way, it was a heck of a throw by Hunter Renfroe. So it's turned into a 2-run 7th inning. Still only 1 out. Drury walked his last time up. A 2-run homer in that 5-run D-backs third.
Oh, and as an by the way, good move by Jake Lamb to tag in advance when he saw that throw going through to home plate.
And now a single can bring in another run. One down to Ron Pennington, our Golden Glover down the left field line. Here's Ron. Don't call me Cliff Pennington, veteran. He knows all the angles down there.
Yes, he does.
We've got the mountain working. There was a late scratch, actually. This is interesting. Late scratch with the Trent. Give it up for Mr. Randy Watson. A late scratch replaced by the mountain, Gregor Carr.
Wasn't it Baby You Can Drive My Car?
Yeah, I like to go back to the Game of Thrones one. You know, because we have Game of Thrones coming up. I know you're excited. Winter's no longer coming, it's here. By the way, they were coming in with some Game of Thrones nicknames for you.
Uh-oh.
I've been submitted a couple.
Uh-oh.
And the winner, the clear winner, of course, we got Game of Thrones bobblehead night coming up soon with Taiwan Walker, the Night King bobblehead. But one was suggested, Bob Brenly Baratheon. Now, I said he's going to have no idea what that means. But you don't know that that's actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Rob came in and suggested that.
Rob's got way too much time on his hands.
Of course, Renly Baratheon, as you know, was killed by the spirit of his brother Stannis.
I thought that's what happened.
Yeah. And of course, the only person to actually see that happen was Brienne of Tarth. But she was able to take care of Stannis when he attacked Winterfell. Right?
Right over my
You should
head.
write this down, probably. Yeah. 2 and 2 on Brandon
Get the
Drury.
Cliff Notes.
That's fouled off. I know you've already put in a request for your Taiwan Walker Game of Thrones bobblehead coming up at Chase Field pretty soon. This is going to be a huge item. This is a real one of a kind. It's going to be big all over the country, not just here. Because he's Taiwan Walker, and the Night King is the leader of the White Walkers. So it's Walker, Walker,
Waka.
and they're coming in from north of the Wall. So they're going to cause some problems for Jon Snow and the Night's Watch.
I hate it when that happens.
And now your watch is ended. Aren't you glad this is a long at bat? 3 and 2.
Oh boy.
I know members of your staff are scrambling to catch up. They're going to try and watch several seasons. I think the first like 5 or 6 before the new season starts. So if the work from the increasingly unreliable staff gets even more unreliable, it's because they're trying to binge watch like 6 years of Game of Thrones. That's a called strike 3. Brad Hand gets the strikeout. 2 down in the 7th.
I can't really much speak to Game of Thrones, but if you want to know what's going on Daniel Tiger, I can help you out.
Pardon me, what?
Oh, you don't know Daniel Tiger?
I know Thomas the Tank, or Train, because he's a train.
He's a train.
Yeah.
Thomas is the train.
Thomas is the train.
Yeah, Daniel Tiger basically is Mr. Rogers with an animated little tiger that's the lead character in the show, but all the music is the same.
Boy, I got to tell you, that last, when you were on assignment, you're taking granddaughter's dolls into All-American Girl to get their hair done. You're watching Daniel Tiger. I got to give it up to you.
And there are pictures. I'm closely guarding them so they don't end up on the air. But yeah, I went to the Lego store. And
oh, well, that's a good run right there.
Yeah.
Gemma playing with Legos?
She builds towers straight up in the air.
Just one on top of the other.
One on top of the other until they fall, and then Grandpa Bob picks them up and we start over again.
Well, maybe she'll be an architect.
Take after George Costanza.
Or a marine biologist. 1-1 to Ray Fuentes. Ouch.
One more run out there wouldn't hurt anything. Big 2-strike, 2-out knock. Talk all the time about slam range. Right now it's within slam range. If the Padres would happen to load it up and somebody step on one, we'd have a tie ball game. So get it out of slam range. That's something Dusty Baker used to talk about all the time.
Dusty lost a tough one today. Steven Strasburg had a 1-0 lead against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers in the 6th inning. Corey Seager came up, hit a home run, and tacked on another run. Kershaw beat Strasburg 2-1 in LA today. Jorge De La Rosa. Looks like he'll get the 8th inning pitcher spot to lead it off for the Padres. Torrens can't hang on. Pitcher spot, Cordoba and Ibar 5, 6, and 7 in the San Diego 8th. Kirby Yates, the right-hander, warming up at the Padre pen. Two and two. Jake Lamb still down there at second, 2 outs. I still think Bob Lee Baratheon can catch on. I think there's still time for that.
You think?
Getting into the Game of Thrones bobblehead night here. It all ties in. That's bounce foul. By the way, I'm reminded that Jon Snow is not leading the Night's Watch anymore. He's now King of the North. So he's kind of moved on from the Night's Watch.
That's a promotion?
Of sorts, yeah. Okay. It's King of the North. King in the North is an unofficial title. But he was Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. All right. It's not my fault to keep fouling off all these pitches. Field line, long run for Cordoba, and he's got it. So Jake Lamb is stranded at second, but the Diamondbacks get 2. We head to the 8th inning. They lead the Padres 7-3. by Franchi Cordero in the third. Then watch this ball 4. There's no one at second base, but the catcher Terens throws it into center field. And then hello, that's a wild pitch by Craig Stammen. It's been one of those weird nights at the ballpark.
Boy, it really has been. A lot of unusual plays. But here we are. Diamondbacks lead at 7-3, top of the 8th inning. Archie Bradley back out there for his second inning of work.
Pitcher spot will lead it off for the Padres. That's 5th in the order. Corey Spangenberg will be the hitter. And now that he's announced, Torey Lovullo has his left-hander ready. He'll go to the bullpen for Jorge De La Rosa. Back after this. Archie Bradley in that 8th inning threw a warm-up pitch or two, maybe. High fives all around, replaced by Jorge De La Rosa once the left-hand pinch hitter was announced. So it's De La Rosa to face Spangenberg to lead off the San Diego 8th. Our ash line call to the bullpen, the 25th appearance of the year for the left-hander. Spangenberg doubled, struck out twice last night. Batting for the pitcher, which is 5th in the Padre order right now. Spangenberg 244 with a home run. Sends it out to Hazelbaker in left field. 1 out.
Hey fans, the D-backs will face the Brewers right here at Chase Field this weekend, June 9th through the 11th. Get to the game with a D-backs value pack that includes a game ticket, a Subway sandwich or a hot dog, and a Pepsi for just $25. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value.
Alan Cordoba, a left fielder, 0 for 3. Still 0-2. Zach Godley just back up from AAA Reno. He'll start Saturday's game here against the Brewers. That's a 7:10 first pitch. A.J. Pollock gets to hang out with his teammates again. Now they're back from the road.
Yeah, if you thought that 11-day road trip was long for you guys that were on the entire road trip, think what it was like for AJ. Those are crushers. You're just sitting at home watching your teammates out there playing the game. Do anything you can possibly do to get back out there as quickly as possible, but until that happens, you just have to sit at home like everybody else and watch.
Cordoba drops it into center, a 1-out single. AJ, we're told, running at about 75% right now, so it's still a while before he's back. They are being very careful. Go downstairs to Kate.
Well, guys, when AJ does come back and he's physically cleared to go at that 100%, they might not want him to go 100% all the time. Right now, Torrey said he's trying to work with what he called a tightly wound athlete like AJ, who's always has that go all out style of play. But he said he wants AJ to get comfortable with the idea if a play is not asking for him to run at 100%, that at times he pulls back a little to preserve his strength, especially be ready to go come August and September.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to slow down his motor. Kind of a pick your spots deal. There's going to be moments to sprint 100%. There will be moments where he can pull back a little.
And, you know, I'm not a big fan of that myself. I think it really opens the door for some possible problems moving forward for some guys, but I don't think it will ever be an issue for A.J. Pollock. You know, he wants to go 100% all the time, and he's just going to have to use a little better judgment. If you hit a one-hopper back to the mound or a one-hopper right to the first baseman, there's really no point in busting it down the first baseline 100%. You know, give it a good 75, 80% just in case somebody drops it. But if you happen to hit one in the gap, crank it up. Pedal to the metal. Go get them.
Same in the outfield, too. You know, crashing into walls and that kind of stuff. 2-1 to Eric Ibar. Chases a high fastball, and it's 2-2.
I mean, we've seen instances in this game where guys have been told to take it easy on the routine outs, don't overextend yourself, and they take advantage of that. And the only time they ever run hard is if they're sniffing a base hit. Hit a ball in the hole between third and short, might have a chance to get an infield hit. You'll see them fly down that first baseline. But the rest of the time, I'll get there when I get there.
Old count now from De La Rosa on Eric Ibar. The catcher Terren's on deck. First pitch tomorrow, by the way, is in just under 15 hours. 12:40 first pitch. Patrick Corbin and Clayton Richard in the series finale. Drives it out to Peralta in right field. 2 outs. Luis Terren's 0 for 3. One and one. Diamondbacks in the home half of the 8th inning will have Jeff Mathis, the catcher. Jeremy Hazelbeck in the pitcher spot. 8, 9, and 1. One and 2. One more against these Padres tomorrow afternoon. Then the Brewers are in Friday night for the first of 3. Randall Delgado gets that start on Friday. Then Zach Godley Saturday. Robbie Ray on Sunday. This is the last game still going on the Major League schedule. Mike Zunino just hit a 2-run homer. Mariners walked it off at Safeco. They beat the Twins 6-5. Everything's a final.
I saw a note on that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game. Trey Mancini came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 9th and hit a home run to tie the game, and then later hit a home run in extra innings to win it.
He had a couple of home runs against us in Baltimore last September, I think. Trey Mancini, the young outfielder. 2-2 on Luis Torrens. Second consecutive full count for Jorge De La Rosa. Jose Pirela on deck. This will get Cordoba started from first. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. There he goes. And Goldie knocks it down. Drury is there. And Torrens is aboard. Base hit for the Padre catcher.
Even if Drury comes up with that ricochet cleanly out there at second base, De La Rosa was a little slow getting off the mound. I'm not sure he would have been there in time.
Pirela came into the ball game midway through. It's a good night so far. He singled, doubled, scored a run.
I'll update the numbers that I gave you earlier. The Padres now with 15 hits in the series. Diamondbacks with 14. D-backs have outscored them so far 17-5.
Wow. Not sure how that's possible. Bunch of walks scored last night. Had a couple of walks scored today. Base hit in the center. Pirela 3 for 3. This will get Cordoba home. And it's a 7-4 ball game.
Pirela swings that bat like he's mad at the baseball. He just attacks. Big old leg kick. Fires that barrel through the hitting zone. Of course, he got a center cut pitch at 83 that time. Drove it right back where it came from.
Pitch hitting for Franchi Cordero, number 18.
Austin Hedges, the catcher, will come in now and pinch hit for the center fielder Franchi Cordero. Andy Green trying to tie this game with 1 swing. Here comes Mike Butcher. Hedges has hit home runs in 3 of his last 5 games. He's got 11 homers on the year, so he can certainly tie this one up with 1 swing. Forget Diamondback Live pregame show tomorrow. We're on the air at noon. First pitch 12:40 for the series finale. Patrick Corbin against Clayton Richard. And the Brewers are in for 3 starting on Friday night. After that, we're off on another long 3-city road trip, so get your tickets while you can to see the Diamondbacks before Sunday. dbacks.com/tickets. Here's Hedges, 212 with those 11 homers. Torrens, the runner at second. Pirela's at first. 2 outs and a run is in. Tying run at the plate. Hedges was 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts last night before he came out of the ball game midway through. One and one. Hop to second. Drury's there. And De La Rosa strands 2. The Padres had 1. Bottom 8th on the way at 7-4 Diamondbacks.
To end, and that's when we go back to work with Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show. We have an interesting look at Jake Lamb and his hot zone, but I'll be real curious your take on Zach Greinke's night tonight.
Yeah, not a typical one, and he's been pitching so well. And I think dating back here, early May when we saw a game like this, only 5 innings, got a lot of strikeouts. Wasn't around the plate as much as he would like to be, though.
All right, a closer look at that and more when this game concludes. So let's get back to the booth. Steve and Bob, take it away.
Okay, thanks, guys. Diamondback Live post-game show coming up right after our ball game. A whole bunch of changes for the Padres here as we start at the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll start on the mound with the right-hander Kirby Yates. His 17th appearance of the year, a 2.60 ERA. Andy Green has had to move some pieces around defensively. Corey Spangenberg, who hit in the pitcher spot, stays in the game. He'll take over third, replacing on Hervey Solarte. Solarte moves back over to second base where he started the game, replacing Jose Pirela. Pirela replaces Cordoba in left field, and Cordoba moves into center, replacing Cordero.
When the music stops, grab a position.
Jeff Mathis, the catcher.
All the oddities we've talked about in the ball game tonight, things that you don't normally see at a big league game, and probably the most notable was Zach Greinke's performance tonight. The first 8 outs in this ball game took 27 pitches.
Wow.
The next 7 outs, or the last 7 outs rather, took 75 pitches. His inning breakdown went 12, then 10 in the second, 23 in the third, 27 in the fourth, and 30 pitches in the fifth.
Well, in that third, he had the ball that got behind Peralta in right field. It should have been a 1-2-3 inning, and then followed up with an RBI single after that. Yeah, and he had to labor there. And 2 hits to lead off the 5th inning. Also had a walk in that inning.
Yeah, especially like Webby said, what we're used to seeing lately from Zach Greinke, and what we saw tonight was a little startling, but everybody's entitled to a speed bump.
Mathis strikes out, 1 away.
Additional defensive changes for San Diego this inning. Moving from second base to left field, number 2, Jose.
I'll bring up Jeremy Hazelbaker.
From left field to center field, number 17, Alan Cordova.
Hazelbaker has struck out in all 3 at bats so far since his recall from Reno. Fastballs, ball 1. Jeremy Hazelbaker out of Muncie, Indiana, went to high school in Selma. Played his college ball at Ball State in Muncie. He really had to work to get to the big leagues. He was a 4th-round pick by the Red Sox in '09. Spent time with Boston, the Dodgers, the Cardinals organization. Finally got to the big leagues last year at the age of 28. But St. Louis waived him in November, picked up by the Diamondbacks. 3-0.
My lasting memory of Ball State University playing in the Mid-America Conference, where they had a center fielder by the name of Demetrius Sanders.
Oh, cool name.
Who was among the nation leaders in stolen bases that year, and we were playing a doubleheader against Ball State, and yeah, Demetrius Sanders, oh man, he's going to steal 100 bases. He didn't get on in the doubleheader.
Well, there's that. Hazelbaker gets on, a 1-out walk, and Gregor Blanco will hit for the pitcher. Pitcher spot is in the leadoff spot for the Diamondbacks, and the former Padre closer Fernando Rodney gets it cranked up in the bullpen. Right now it's only a 3-run lead. So here's Blanco, 270 with a home run. Doubled twice, walked, scored 3 runs from the leadoff spot here last night. Pace of the game is slowed somewhat. I'm not sure if you've noticed.
Commissioner Manfred got out of town just in time.
Last a couple of innings. Ooh. A lot of walks, a lot of 3-2 counts. D-backs still with only 7 hits. 11 for the Padres. There's a strike. Good to get Blanco back in the lineup last night. First time he'd played since he injured that left thumb Thursday at Marlins Park in Miami. Certainly showed no ill effects in the ball game last night. He doubled in his first 2 at bats. Kirby Yates winning over a lot of fans here. That's fouled straight back. D-backs trying to win what would be a season-high 8th straight home game. They've already won 10 of the last 12 here at Chase Field. 22-8 at home, the best home record in baseball. Blanco down 0-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. David Peralta on deck. Goldie after that. Diamondbacks have been out hit 11-7, but they lead at 7-4. Padres have left 9 on base tonight. Andy Green trying to avoid what would be a 4th straight loss. 2-2. Hazelbaker breaks for second, and Blanco fouls that fastball straight back.
Good jump at first by Jeremy Hazelbaker that time. Of course, in a 2-strike count, Gregor Blanco has to be ready to protect anything close to the plate. Had a good swing at that high fastball, but fouled it straight back. We'll do it again.
Send that runner trying to at least get kind of slam proof, right? That's a call at strike 3. Drop that slider in there.
Right field.
Not so sure that one got back to the corner.
Close. David Peralta has walked twice. He's singled. He's stolen a base. He's scored twice. Hazelbaker at first and 2 outs. Rodney still warming up in the bullpen. Close down there at first. Safe, says Tim Timmons.
Hand on the bag. A little bit of a flinch, however, from Jeremy Hazelbaker. This is about the time somebody from the third base dugout will yell out to Kirby Yates, hey, you had your chance to get him and you walked him. Man.
This is not. Still 1-0. Hazelbaker holds, and there's a strike. 1-1.
Yates is throwing more pitches to first base than he has to home plate.
A lot more. Spangenberg and Solarte both over on the right hand side. Here's the 1-1. Hazelbaker breaks for second, swing and a miss, and he is in there. Stolen base for Jeremy Hazelbaker. Ibar tried to fool him that time. Still trying to tag him. 1-2 on Peralta.
I'll tell you, one of these days we're going to see it happen. A stolen base attempt like this, and instead of sliding into second base, just turn and keep going to third with that exaggerated pull shift on.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times the only defender on the left side of the infield is playing up the middle of the field.
The pitcher would be the only guy that could maybe get over there.
Yeah, if you just hit your foot on the bag and turn it and keep going, you can possibly outrun that. There you see Spangenberg just now coming into your picture to get over there and cover third.
He was way over with the shift on. So Hazelbaker at second, 2 outs, 1-2 on Peralta. Rodney ready in the bullpen. Got it. So we head to the ninth. It's 7-4 Diamondbacks. Fernando Rodney, get the bow and arrow ready. He's been on a roll as of late. He hasn't given up an earned run in 11 straight appearances. He comes in with a 3-run lead. Ninth inning here at Chase Field. D-backs lead the Padres 7-4. Our Gila River game summary. Diamondbacks exploded in that third inning. They were down 2-0, but they got 5 runs, all with 2 outs in that third. A 3-run homer by Jake Lamb, 2-run shot by Brandon Drury. Tacked on 2 more in the 7th, and now the closer is out there with a 7-4 lead in the 9th. It's the former Padre. He was an all-star last year after he started the season as San Diego's closer. Saved 17 games for the Padres last year, but here he comes looking for number 15 as a Diamondback. It's Fernando Rodney.
Have to work his way through the middle of this Padres lineup. Yangervis Solarte will lead it off, followed by Will Myers and Hunter Renfroe.
Second baseman, Yangervis Solarte.
Shoot that arrow.
Getting ready for the big final out. So Rodney is prepped and ready. Yangervis Solarte, who homered off Zach Greinke in the first inning, the second batter of the ball game, and then added an RBI single in the third. He knocked in both of the first 2 Padre runs. They had a 2-0 lead. He will lead off the 9th. Solarte has played second base, third base, then back to second base in this game. That's a strike, and it's 0-1. Drury well back of the outfield grass at second. Change up in the dirt. It's a ball and a strike. Fernando Rodney has not allowed an earned run in 11 straight appearances, going all the way back to May 2nd, more than a month now. Change up missed. It's 2-1. Fastball's not there. 3 balls and a strike. This is how Rodney got into trouble on the last road trip in Pittsburgh, that wild 14-inning rain delayed game when he walked the first 2 batters he faced. 3-1 is in there.
It's been 6 days since Fernando Rodney pitched. We know he likes to work on a regular routine, but the opportunities just have not been there recently.
Yeah, that series at Miami, the off day Monday. Hard to second and to the shift. Drury, the backhander from the outfield grass, and that's the first out. It's been a rough series for Will Myers.
First baseman Will Myers.
He's 0 for 3. He's walked and struck out 3 times tonight. He's punched out already 5 times in the series. So make him 4 for 26 at Chase Field this year. Fastball in, it's 1-0. That's out of play.
How about this for Fernando Rodney? Since May 2nd, he's pitched 10 2/3 innings, has not given up an earned run. Opponents batting .063 against him.
Yeah, he is 8 for 9 in save situations over that stretch. The only one he didn't get was that game in Pittsburgh. 1-2. Diamondbacks had 2 blown saves in that game before TJ McFarland ended up with a win in relief. That was a week ago. High in the air, right center. Peralta. 2 outs. Diamondback Live postgame show is coming up next here on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs trying to get to 11 games over 500. 36-25. Hunter Renfroe, who homered twice last night. Last man standing. He's 1 for 4 tonight with a single.
I wonder where the arrow will go with the roof closed.
It's a fair point. Get stuck up there. It's been open most of the year. Yes, he did. Tim Simmons, it's 1-2. Rodney a strike away.
When you take that violent a swing, it's really tough to hold up.
Up and in, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Spangenberg on deck. Called strike 3. And there goes the arrow. Fernando Rodney saves it. 7-4 Diamondbacks as the D-backs improve to 23-8 at Chase Field this year. They've won 8 straight and 11 of their last 13 at home.
Boy, we were talking before the show about how great Zach Greinke has been recently, and tonight was just not his night. Wasn't on top of his ball game, but still kept the team in the game long enough to bring home a victory.
D-backs make it 2 in a row over these Padres. They'll go for the series sweep tomorrow afternoon. Now 11 games over 500 at 36-25. Much more coming up from Chase Field. We'll take a quick break on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondbacks beat the Padres 7-4. Back with more after this.